Nightfall, The Body Snatchers, adapted by Frank W. McEnany from Robert Louis Stevenson's story. Fetz comes across eminent Dr. McFarlane, with whom he attended medical school, and recalls their work in taking bodies for dissection and paying the shifty men who deliver the corpses.
In the dream, you are falling, lost in the listening distance, as dark locks in. Nightfall. Good evening. Tonight's play is a new adaptation of the classic short story by Robert Louis Stevenson, the original Body Snatchers.
Down the close and up the stair, Bud and Ben wi' Burke and Hare. Burke's the butcher, Hare's the thief, Knock's the man that buys the beef.
It is 30 years since I last saw that kind of beef, lying still, oh, so still on its slab. But the rain brings back the sights. 30 years since I was a student of medicine in the schools of Edinburgh. The greatest ornament of all the town was a certain professor of anatomy, a Dr. Knox. You'll call his name to mind, perhaps. When all was done and known, the very children cried it in the streets. And he, God help me, he picked me for a likely lad.
A very pretty dissection, Mr. Fettes. It's a rare delight when a student can not only find the brain, but has one.
Thank you, sir. I cannot tell you what an honor it is.
Oil of clothes is for the toothache, Mr. Fettes. You may spare me your compliments. I have decided to appoint you second demonstrator, which is to say sub-assistant for the anatomy class.
Well, thank you, sir.
You'll be responsible to Mr. Wolfe McFarlane here, our demonstrator. The two of you are acquainted, I believe.
We shall know each other better, sir. Congratulations, Fettes.
Thank you, McFarlane. I swear I'll give you no cause for regret, Dr. Knox.
You'll be moving your lodgings, Mr. Fettes, to nearby here in the close. We sometimes have night business, and you'll need to watch sharp for the call.
Night business, sir.
Come now, Mr. Fettes, you know as well as I do that our only legal cadavers come to us from the public hangman. Be he never so busy, he couldn't supply the half of our needs. But there are always the poor. But ask no more questions for conscience' sake. McFarlane, instruct your assistant.
Yes, sir.
You'll move here tonight, Fettes, and remember...
Sir?
Be ready for visitors.
Visitors. Did you hear old Knox say visitors in the night? And I not ready for them, does he think?
He'll be as ready for them as ever you were for a wench, Fettes. Speaking of which, observe.
Our fair serving maid, the succulent Jane Galbraith.
Oh, Jane. Everybody's Jane. Observe Miss Galbraith as she negotiates her way among the tables laden with tankards and bottles.
I observe a fine behind, I'll tell you that.
Imprecise, lad, imprecise. You actually observe the relation of her gluteus maximus muscles to her sacrum and coccygeal bones. How is the latter shift vertically?
Yeah, the former flex and bounce horizontally.
Bravo, laddie. You have observed how Latin may decorate a tart, eh? Take your degree. Oh, take your degree.
Oh, Maui, Fettes. Oh, what are you doing with such black company as McFarlane there? One look at his viper eye, and I feel somebody's footsteps walking on my very grave.
Well, I'd rather walk to a warmer place for laying you down, Jane.
Don't be sexting in my churchyard when you will.
Well, all right, yeah, I'll do that.
Resurrection men.
What you saying?
Grave robbers. You know, Fettes, our Lord's remains would be precious little use to us.
What are you saying, man?
Aye, man. Those remains were only available on the third day.
McFarlane, has it ever occurred to you that God might strike you dead in the street? But God and his angels slept, and so did I, until one night, in the blackest dark before the dawn, the promised visitors arrived at last.
Good morning, Your Honor. Dr. Fettes, is it?
Mr. Fettes, since you know my name, you must know I'm only a student. Well, get in here, both of you, and what you have with you.
My friend here, sir, my living friend, is Mr. Burke.
Your Honour's servant.
No servant of mine.
And I'm Mr. Hare, sir. My other friend, the silent one here, was poor old Sally. Your Honour would be wanting her unwrapped, of course, before you be naming a price. Mr. Burke, the fixings, if you please.
Right.
My God. She still stinks of gin.
She died with her last glass still in her hand, God bless her, and all the world a rose of light. Sure, God is kind to his poor, sir.
She's fresh. How much?
Fresh, did you say? She's still warm.
A poor old soul we gave a bed to, sir, to keep her from the streets. She was took of a sudden in the night.
We keep a lodge in the
I can
house,
do without
you
your
see.
explanations. £7.10.
For such a fine, fresh cadaver, Your Honour. Surely now.
Take the money or go whistle for it. I don't bargain with resurrection men.
That's a hurtful name to be saying, sir. And it's blasphemy, too.
Mr. McFarlane was giving us £1 a pound when 'twas fresh like this. She's worth more than you're offering.
£7.10.
Well, seeing as you're new, sir, we'll take the offer.
Good. Here, then. Burke, here?
Sir?
Are you, then, butchers that you price your meat so nicely?
Oh, why, sir, 'tis you that's the butchers.
I beg your pardon.
Sure, we only deliver the meat.
'Tis you that slices it up.
I barred and bolted the street door behind them. Then I went and was sick below the stairs. My accommodation itself was lofty and spacious, but as the weeks went by, the very walls closed in about me, breathing complicity with empty graves, and more. And then, one night... Merciful God. Oh, merciful God.
He knows her. You know her.
Surely not, sir.
That's Jane Galbraith. She was alive and hearty yesterday.
It's impossible she can be dead.
Sure, sir, you're mistaken entirely.
I know her, I tell you. And what's wrong with her neck? It's impossible you should have got this body fairly.
Well, now, Mr. Fettes, that's a dangerous accusation to be making. A very dangerous accusation indeed.
We dug her up. 6 feet under she was.
It's you that's so firm they be fresh, Mr. Fettes. A body you ordered, a body you got. A bargain's a bargain. And, you'll notice Mr. Burke is between you and the door.
So best you pay up straight now.
Yeah, very well. Here's your money. Now go.
How much?
£10 now. Get out of here.
There now, Mr. Burke. Wasn't it myself told you he was a real gentleman?
Fettes! Fettes!
And there's Mr. McFarlane wanting you, Mr. Fettes. We'll be off now. The world and his wife will be up and about any minute.
Fettes, Dr. Knox wants that preparation of spirits of alcohol ready for the morning class. Did I hear the street door close?
It was a night delivery.
Good. And now, as for this morning's class...
McFarlane, look at the face.
Why, Annette? Oh, I see. Jane Galbraith.
You take it very coolly.
Well, should I not?
There's a mark on the base of the neck. Look.
Second cervical vertebra shattered. Aye, it looks fishy.
Well, what do I do?
Do? Well, why do you want to do anything? Least said, soonest mended, I should say.
But someone might recognize her.
We'll hope not. And if anybody does, well, you didn't, you see, and there's an end.
But there's the law, the police.
Oh. As to that, I should like to know how any of us would look, or what the devil we should have to say for ourselves in any Christian witness box. For me, you know, there's one thing certain, that practically speaking, all our subjects have been murdered.
McFarlane?
Come now. As if you hadn't suspected it yourself.
Well, suspecting is one thing, but...
And proof another. Aye, I know. And I'm as sorry as you are poor Jane should have come to this. But the next best thing is not to recognize it. And I don't. I think a man of the world would do as I do.
Would he now? And what kind of a world would he be a man of, then?
Fettes. Wee Fettes. Why do you suppose Knox chose us two for his assistants? And I answer, because he didn't want old wives.
Old wives! Old wives, he says.
There's my lad. A man of the world must take his humour where he finds it, eh?
God in heaven, who's that?
Quick, cover her up and take hold of your nerves.
Who is it?
It's me, Richardson.
What the hell do you want? You know anatomy class doesn't start for 2 hours yet.
Let him in, man. Let him in.
What?
Little Richardson won't bite. And we are here to help the students.
It's 7 a.m, Richardson. What do you want?
Well, I want, that is, I need...
Speak up, damn you.
I need a head.
Are you mad?
No, that is, body. You've got a new body. Oh, wonderful. Here, let me look.
No.
Hands off, you bloody fool. Hands off, I say.
Sorry.
Intruding bloody fool.
Now, Fettes. Poor Richardson's just a trifle over-eager, that's all. We must not censure zeal.
I only wanted...
Of course. I'm afraid this head is out of the question, unfortunately. It's already spoken for.
Oh, yes. I see. I do understand.
Richardson, I beg your pardon for losing my temper. I am a man of the world, again.
And none too soon. Richardson, I call Fettes here to witness. You shall have our very next head.
I shall.
As I am an honest man.
Oh, Mr. MacFarlane, thank you. A head all for myself. My very own head.
In a day, in but one day, Jane Galbraith was disposed of in the usual way. And I hardened my heart and drank o' nights as hard as ever I worked by day. In our tavern there was another girl to serve us, and one night beside MacFarlane there sat a stranger, a small man, very pale and dark, with coal black eyes. He did not improve upon acquaintance, but he exercised a very remarkable control over MacFarlane.
Leave already? But a pup, Toddy dear, the night is but a pup. Come along now. Order your friend Fettes here another nip of whiskey. Order up, Toddy.
Gray, don't call me that.
Affection, Toddy dear, a mere term of affection.
My name is Wolf MacFarlane. Use it.
Isn't he a naughty toddy, Mr. Fettes? Landlord, another rum and water for me and a hot toddy for Mr. MacFarlane here. And bring him the bill.
Aye, sir.
If you use that name again...
Mr. Fettes, you mean to say that darling Toddy here has never mentioned me? Never once?
Well, no, sir, not that I recall.
Toddy dear, I'm hurt, worse than hurt, offended. After all we've been through together.
Hold your tongue, Gray.
He and I share certain common pleasures, Mr. Fettes. At least I provide, and he enjoys them. Huh, Toddy?
Shut up, damn you!
Never told you about those, I'll wager, has he, Mr. Fettes? Juicy little...
MacFarlane, for God's sake, man.
Do not fret yourself, Mr. Fettes. He and I often exchange these little love taps, but he finds them costly. Yeah, Toddykins? Landlord, your lamb and venison dinner with all the trimmings and the best wine in the house. The bill to my purple-faced friend here.
Aye, sir.
Look at him, Mr. Fettes. He hates me, you know. See how my little darling hates me. Have I spoiled your appetite, Toddy?
Why, no, Gray. As a matter of fact, you've just given me one.
By the time we separated, Gray was incapably drunk, and I tottered home myself with devious footsteps, dimly wondering that MacFarlane was still cold sober. Next day he was absent from class, and I chuckled to myself. Yes, I actually did that. To think of poor Toddy still squiring the intolerable Gray from tavern to tavern. By evening I was still a wee bit fragile, d'ye see. So I went early to bed and slept the sleep of the just. Until...
I'm coming. Damn you, I'm coming. Please, dear Lord, let there be honest earth on this one. MacFarlane, you?
Me.
Have you been out alone?
You might say I have. Now stop staring and give me a hand.
Digging up a grave by yourself? How in heaven's name did you manage it?
Never mind, damn you. Up on the slab. Here, I'll get the door.
But where and how did you come by it? I'm as strong as you, but I'd never...
The bolt, you bloody fool!
I was just going to snap it, MacFarlane. What in the hell's the matter with you?
I'm sorry, Fettes. My nerves are playing me up. I'm much better now.
Well, you'd best be home to bed then, and let me get back to mine.
I think first you'd better look at the face.
Well, why should I do that?
Because you know who it is, dear Fettes. But you'll never sleep until you're absolutely sure now, will you? Look at the face. Look at the face.
Oh, God. Oh, God. God.
You see, Fettes? You did know. You're weeping for such scum as Grey.
To see him naked, in rigor mortis, on a slab. The man I left well clad and full of meat and sin, on the threshold of a tavern.
Fettes, what a bairn ye are, after all. The wee kirk of the heather got its clutches on ye yet. Enough of that. We must to business. See that Richardson has the head. The poor fool will probably kiss you. And talking of business, he must pay me. Your account, remember, must tally.
Pay you? Pay you for that?
Why, yes, of course you must. By all means, and on every possible account you must. I dare not give it for nothing. You dare not take it for nothing. Mr. Grey is the continuation of Miss Galbraith. You can't begin and then stop. If you begin, you must keep on beginning. There's the truth. No rest for the wicked, you see.
My God, what have I done? And when did I begin? To be made a class assistant in the name of reason, where was the harm in that?
My dear fellow, at the first, of course, you staggered. But you're clever. You have pluck. I like you, and Knox likes you. You were born to lead the hunt. I tell you, on my honor, 3 days from now, you'll laugh at these pale scarecrows like a schoolboy at a fuss.
You'd better go home to your bed, Mr. McFarlane. I'll get Grey ready for the students in the morning.
Above all else, Mr. Fettes, the head to little Richardson. Did you see his eyes when I promised it? Do you think anyone will recognize Grey? Not 5 minutes after Richardson's first cut.
Hours passed. The class began to arrive. The pale members of Mr. Grey were dealt out to one and to another, and received without remark. Richardson tasted at last the joys of heaven.
Such a head, Mr. McFarlane. The supraorbital cavity, the occipital...
The pleasure is mine, Richardson. Entirely mine.
On the third day, a dreadful process of disguise was complete. I had outlived my terrors and forgotten my baseness, but the supply of subjects never met the demand. Richardson and all his tribe were insatiable. And so, at last, it came to the point that McFarlane and I must turn resurrection men ourselves. Like vultures on a dying lamb, we came down in rain and darkness on a coffin in the lonely rustic graveyard of Glencorse. The old wife of a farmer, who'd been known for nothing but good butter and a godly conversation, was to be rooted from her grave at midnight and carried, dead and naked, to that faraway city she had always honoured with her Sunday best. The place beside her family was to be empty till the crack of doom. her innocent and venerable body to be exposed to the last curiosity of the anatomist.
Almost there. A little more. Damn it to hell. The lantern's gone out. How are we going to get that corpse up in pitch darkness? To hell with the darkness. The less to see, the better. We don't need light to break her open. Damn it. Now let's get her out into the carriage. Poor Biddy'll catch her death of cold in this lane. What the hell's got into the dogs? Never mind the dogs. Get her under the shoulders. I'll take care of the feet. God, she's heavy for... MacFarlane, what is it now? This is not the body of a woman. Superstitious fool. Feel it, you can... The chest is flat as any table. Feel the width of the shoulders. I have matches here somewhere. Uncover the face. I'll get a light under my coat. Here. Now let's get a good look at the pitch. So... There. Against all reason, staring up from the coffin, his cold black eyes fixed on us like a knife in a wound, lay the one face that we now knew could never decompose or be disposed of. The face that would henceforth belong to any corpse we should ever encounter. The mocking face of the dead and long dissected Grey.
Vanishing Point is the title of a Canadian radio drama series produced and aired by CBC Radio from 1984 to 1986, and then under a variety of different subtitles until 1992. Created and produced by Bill Lane, Vanishing Point was the CBC's follow-up to Nightfall, which had instilled new life into its many regional drama centers. This one is called Cage of Light.
Tonight, we are going on a voyage of discovery into deep space. Exploration Commander John Wilhelm Allen is unwittingly to be our guide. We must not disturb him, for it is actually a voyage of rediscovery. We are to be stowaways on a return flight to a planet deep in Commander Allen's mind.
Balance is set, Commodore.
Is the defendant ready?
Yes, sir.
You may activate the witness, Ensign.
Yes, sir.
Friday, October 16, 2116. Location, Newell Island Spaceport, Exploration Command, Lunar Colony 4. Procedure, investigation and trial of Exploration Commander First Class, John Wilhelm Allen. Incident, apparent life termination of an undetermined number of intelligent life forms on the planet Nokis 261C during primary exploration mission. The jury is instructed to probe and evaluate under Council Directive 6, Section 9. Commander Allen?
Yes, sir.
Before you address the jury, and as a matter of record, we have a few questions which you may answer consciously to the witness. Do you plead guilty or not guilty to the charge of involvement in the disappearance and possible death of the creatures on Nokis?
I'm not sure.
I must have a plea.
Guilty.
You are aware of the terms of Section 9?
Yes, sir. Under no circumstances whatsoever shall a human being terminate the life of a newly discovered life form. If a hostile alien is encountered, or if there is any difficulty in such a mission, the human shall terminate his own life by whatever means possible, but usually by way of breaking the poison sac secured in his mouth.
Should you have followed Section 9?
I believe I did, sir, but as I told the committee, I can't remember anything about the mission, except vague feelings about encountering life forms.
Priotoxin has never failed, in the lab or in the field.
I know, sir, but when I arrived back at base, the sac was broken and I was alive.
And according to our robot probe, the aliens had disappeared.
Yes, sir.
You are aware that both audio and visual recorders on your ship are blank?
Yes, sir.
Explanation?
I don't know. Indicators read normal throughout the mission.
And you still claim to remember nothing?
Yes, sir.
Yet you plead guilty.
I have a feeling. I believe I'm responsible.
Very well. The witness may now process this verbal record and supply it to the jury. Commander Allen, please step into the jury chamber.
Yes, sir.
The jury is now operating. By law, I am required to inform you as to its function. The jury is a Sony 46Z hypnoprocessor modified for specific tasks by Exploration Command. It will probe your mind in such a way as to provide us with an audio record of what happened during your mission. After accumulation of this data and determination of intention, it will deliver sentence. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
We'll proceed. Anson, activate the jury to begin the probe and give us full gain on the speakers. I want to hear it all myself.
Activated. It'll be a second till we focus in on the Nokis incident, sir.
Of course.
Signal drive, turn and check, and have determined the landing successful. Secure and proceed to contact.
But I don't know what you mean. To tunnel base, proceeding to planned orbit.
We did it every time the prof turned around.
I really do love her.
Really like her face.
Know what you mean.
Strange sounds. Must be a language. Surprisingly accommodating.
Landing
Tried to love you.
And have determined the landing successful. We'll secure and proceed to contact. I expect they aren't too intelligent, given the robot probe's analysis and present biographics readings. Earl, I assume you're still assigned as my base contact for this leg of the trip, so hello and welcome. Let's hope we're both listening to the tapes of this when I get back. Biographics has a secondary. Incredible. Amazing. Looks like something approaching us in intelligence. Airlocks are ready, so I'm heading out. Contact 1 for Nokis 2, 61C officially begins now. Lock has opened. Feels weird not to be wearing my suit, but the probe was right. Atmosphere feels just like home. I'm outside the ship. That scratchy ticking sound appears to be coming from... Oh, they're like... Earl, it appears we have an abundance of some kind of bird. A lot of them in the air, but they're not coming near the ship. Possibly a kilometer away. Why didn't the probe or the biographics pick them up? There must be hundreds of them. Still no sight of our primary objective, although the biographic says they're not far away. We'll proceed in the direction that... Oh, I can see them. I
can see them, the life forms, the aliens. Readings indicate these are the ones we're looking for. About 100 meters, and moving in this direction. Slowly. Seems to be a sandy-colored kind of biped that... No, make that lighter with more red. Sort of a... What the hell, they're pinkish with green coming in a... God, they seem to be changing color. Earl, I hope you've got a video on this. It's like they're dissolving through the rainbow with... Now there are about... How many of them? What the hell's going on? Earl, this may not make sense, but I can't count them. I mean, I know there's more than one of them, but they change. No, that's not right. They're not changing. It's just that I can't count them. More than one, but 6, 50, thousands, 2. I got no idea. Earl, there's a smell. It's awful. It's getting stronger. It's like sulfur, only worse. Worse than the smell of it. It hurts. My whole head. The creatures are coming. Walking, I think. Closer. Smell worse. Painful. The creatures are... Oh my God. They're burning. Flames. Bright. Hot. So very hot. Everything's starting to burn. Pain. I can't... That sound. It's awful. It hurts. I've got to... It's so bright and loud. Earl, I'm still here. Everything appears to be back to normal. The creatures are still... Oh, my God! I can't see. I've lost all my vision. I'm blind. Earl, I couldn't bite the capsule. It felt like something terrible had taken hold of me deep inside, but now... The birds, there's something about the birds that I don't understand. Something... Maybe I should know that. Can you hear that? I can feel the sounds as well as hear them. And taste them and see them. Earl, something's wrong. Everything's getting confused. Section 9. Time to bite.
Seems to be having some trouble physically, sir. Heart rate increasing, wave patterns jumping all over the place.
Withdraw the probe, quickly.
Coming around, sir.
Oh, don't. Not there. Squeezing. Can you help us? It hurts. Pain. Please help us.
Alan.
I don't understand.
Commander Allen, the jury is deactivated. You are back at base.
Excuse me. I'm all right now.
What happened, Commander?
That's the first time I remembered what happened.
Everything?
No. Only up to when I took the bite. Except there's a bit more.
What?
I bit the capsule. I felt the poison enter my body, and I stopped it from working. I let it go through without damage somehow.
What do you mean?
I know I should be dead, but I'm not. I somehow neutralized enough prelatoxin to kill 10 people.
That's preposterous.
I know, but here I am. Something happened to me on Nakas, and I'm not the same anymore.
In what way?
The more I remember, it seems like what happened to me was to... Not to somebody else exactly, but to me when I used to be somebody else. I changed. The world seems different to me now.
But the medical report...
Commodore, may we continue the probe?
Very well. Ensign?
All readings normal again, sir.
Activate the jury.
inside my head. Telepathy? Maybe they're trying to talk to me. Feels like I'm being pushed from the inside. Wait. They're moving. The creatures are moving. Coming towards me.
You must not be scared. Afraid. Not be afraid.
You're touching me somehow. It hurts. Don't hold so hard. Squeezing, not so hard. Better. Better.
Not want hurt. We, I, us, touch. Want to know what you are.
Earl, can you hear that? I can't tell if I hear them or if it's in my head.
John Allen.
How do you know my name?
I want to talk with you.
My name is John Willem Allen, Exploration Commander, Planet Earth. Can you understand me?
No. Yes. Understand words, not understand species.
You can hear me?
No. Yes. Beginning to understand your primary communication. Understanding your language. Wait.
You're doing something to me.
Yes. Earth humans communicate differently from us. I have altered your form so we can talk. Explain sight, please.
What? Oh, you can't see, so you're telepathic.
That is only a preliminary method to communicate.
Do you have a name?
Name? Difficult. You, Earth, call us. Me, Nokian. John, this is very difficult. I need more information. You have memories. We can only learn about you and Earth from them. We need you to help us learn your memories.
You want to read my mind?
That is approximation. We will join memories. Join together.
Fine, but I wonder if you could explain. What are you doing? You're squeezing. Squeezing my head. Stop. Stop. It hurts. You're hurting me. Don't. Please. I can't take it.
John.
Oh, I see. If I just let you come in. Something like that. Thoughts together. Now I understand how you... Oh, no. Oh, my God. I didn't realize. I had no idea. What are you doing now? You're making me remember.
So won't you even try it? Something about to head off on his first exploration mission. You're certainly traditional.
Carla, you know I only like food I recognize. So why do you still try to make me
When you get back, I'll have sold my first transport past Moonbase.
It's a great time for both of us.
I guess so. There's no real danger in piloting a transport. Statistics say that even if one...
sorry. Thank you.
Carl, I begin briefing tomorrow, and in a week I'll be gone on my first exploration mission. I might not survive. You've known about this for 2 years.
John, I love you.
And I love you, but unless we can both handle the risk my job entails, there's no point in this continuing.
Squeezing again. Language to speak. Light from the sun giving us colors. Not birds at all, but part of them. Many of us are the same. Don't know of numbers. Several billions. Yes. Is that Nokian?
Yes. We can use your language better now. But you did not join with us.
But I did. I learned about you. I was in your mind.
There is so much more.
But there was a feeling of not quite getting it all. But I understand now that
the connection between us was not truly made, John. Among ourselves, there is a joy in the connection. But with you, we feel a frustration. It cannot work.
But it did. Our minds joined together.
No. That was little more than your talking. We're very sad for you, John. But it was amazing.
Beautiful. I learned to understand about your...
No. We love you, John, as we love all creatures. For that is how we know them. But you can never feel the same for us.
I don't know what you mean.
Your people will never be close. You have this thing called sight.
But we were in each other's minds. I was thinking, feeling your thoughts.
A small glimpse, John. Less than that.
The birds. I understand about the birds. They're part of you. Like a limb, but not attached.
No. They are attached, John. Like your hand is attached to you.
But they move independently. They're not physically attached.
They are the same as the rest of the body, John. They are how we soar above our world, how we glide and drift in the wind. Our world is inside us and outside. It is a glorious living place of love and living. It brings a great sadness to contemplate your existence.
Is that why you took my sight away? To make me like you?
We tried to change you a little. To bring you a bit into our dimension of existence.
Maybe I could learn.
No. With us, communication, knowledge of all, is constant and complete. To us, it is like your breathing. It is necessary for survival. Until you came, we did not believe it could be possible any other way. If intelligence were to survive, you are like a flaw to us. Your inability to join with us causes great despair. It is a terrible burden even to consider your situation. Your sight distracts you from all else. You are trapped in a cage of light. Do you understand this much, John?
I think so.
Humans are many parts. Alone. Pieces unconnected. Selfish.
But we will sacrifice to learn. We will.
We have changed you. We must change you back. You could harm us, John.
Isn't there some other way we could communicate?
No. You are not able to sense us at all without our help. When you arrived, we tried to let you see us. But that didn't work. We don't exist that way. We sad to leave you, John, but I must go, and so must you. Our meeting was not meant to be. I will change you back, John. I'm sorry.
Wait. I think if we...
Readings are getting dangerous, but we seem to have lost contact. It doesn't look good, sir.
I want to know what they did to him.
His heart, sir. It's...
All right. Release the probes. Commander Allen? Commander Allen.
I understand now how it hurts.
What did they do to you?
So painful. So alone.
Are you all right?
Yes, sir. But when they changed me back, I tried to join with them again. I almost did it. I felt their pain and despair at how alone we are. How we struggle to exist. Alone. They were extremely sad for us. So sad it was causing them harm.
Do you remember everything now?
Yes. The Nokians made me forget. Out of kindness. They were trying to protect me. They knew I was feeling their pain when they changed me back, so they made me forget.
What do you think happened to them?
They aren't harmed. They're there where they always were. But we can't know of them. They didn't let me explain about our need to know that we'll make great sacrifices to learn. We can change ourselves.
It's fortunate that neither race suffered any permanent damage. Ensign, the jury's verdict.
Not guilty, sir, with a recommendation that Commander Allen be promoted to field commander and transferred to the Buenos Aires Alien Research Center on Earth.
Sir, I don't... Exploration, it's all I want to do. And return to Naucus.
After this mission, you would not be suitable for exploration. Your motivations are now incorrect. You will report to Buenos Aires in 30 days. You are now on active leave.
Something didn't get changed back on Naucus. I seem to have this, not an ability really, but a calmness I can get across to people.
You better eat your breakfast while it's hot.
Everything's so different now.
John, I'm worried about you. Maybe the doctors missed something.
I'm all right, Carla. Really, I am. What are these?
Don't ask till you're finished. Concentrate on the taste.
Carla, I've got to go back to Naucus. I've got to see them again.
John,
I've got to go back.
John,
It's like getting a taste of something and needing more.
But you said they wouldn't contact a human again.
I think we could get close, despite our differences.
They seem so sure from what you told me.
When I first saw them, there was the fire, the smell, the screams. That was fear, Carla. My fear. I was afraid of them, of anyone coming into my mind. Without even realizing it, I was fighting them. And they showed me my own fear. They were trying to imitate me to get into contact, but instead, they imitated my horrors.
You don't need to know
I had to go back and try again. Much of what was painful for them was my pain. Pain at not being able to let go. And at discovering how alone we really are.
Excuse me, Commodore. I have a mission communique you might be interested in.
Yes? From what mission?
You remember the Naucus incident about a month ago? Commander Allen?
Not likely to forget it.
Well, Allen's on his way back to Naucus. Sent this just before dipping into hyperspace.
Going back? Who authorized that?
Admiral Stanislav. And classified it till the ship had left.
That planet was quarantined. And Allen was taken out of exploration.
Yes, sir.
How could he convince an admiral to go off on a fool's mission to a dangerous planet?
Don't really know, sir. Have to ask the admiral. But he must have had a pretty good story. Even got permission to take along his girlfriend.
That's completely against regulations.
Yes, sir.
Well, let's hear what he has to say. Play it back.
This is the last message from Naucus Mission 2. I am Carla Reed Smith, now in command. Commander Allen asked me to explain that the purpose of this mission is to make second contact with the Naucus life forms. He believes he is the only human capable of doing so at this time. However, in order to make himself ready for contact, he will be unable to speak to you. He has had his vocal cords and eardrums rendered ineffective, and he is now removing his eyes. He has convinced me that these radical steps are necessary.
It has been said that Earth is the only true alien planet. If so, we are the aliens, aliens to ourselves and to each other. John Wilhelm Allen is prepared to take leave of those meager senses which perceive a world of limited horizons. He is prepared to take the leap through that point of no return, the vanishing point.
Cage of Light by Bill Gray. Boyd Norman was heard as Allen, Joseph Scala as Commodore Innes, Meredith Bain Woodward as the technician, Janet Wright as Carla Allen, and William Samples as the Nokian. The sound engineer was Jerry Stanley, with sound effects by Jay Hyrene, and the production assistant was Dagmar Kafanka. Soundscapes were composed and performed by Barry Truax. The series script editor for Vanishing Point is Sandra Rabinovich. The original music theme is by John Roby, and the voice of introduction is David Calderisi. Cage of Light was produced and directed at CBC Vancouver by Don Kowalchuk. The executive producer of Vanishing Point is William Lane. Next week, we present an adaptation of a short story by one of the best-known authors of our time, The Playground, by Ray Bradbury. Next week on Vanishing Point. Until then, I'm Art Cuthbert, wishing you good night.
In 1974, longtime radio producer Hyman Brown convinced CBS to greenlight a new anthology of radio dramas, CBS Radio Mystery Theater. Radio drama had been declared dead 12 years before. CBS Radio Mystery Theater was meant to appeal to an audience that remembered when old-time radio drama was a popular form of family entertainment. Riding on the wave of nostalgia fever, the radio show attracted many younger listeners who would stay up late, hidden under their covers to hear the program on their bedroom radio, and many of them were not able to go to sleep after listening to the frightening program. The episode is called Windandingo. After accidentally shooting a prize bull, an inexperienced and bungling soldier is sent home. Soon after he arrives, his home is taken over by General Burgoyne, and he is able to aid his country in the end by invoking the spirit of Indian justice.
Time to tell tales of the unaccountable, of apparitions by night and phantoms in shadow. Time to tell strange stories of fantasy and the supernatural. Mystery Theater presents The Wendigo, a strange tale of the supernatural by George Selverson, from a story by Algernon Blackwood, and starring Ed Wilson as Simpson and Robert Christie as Dr. Cathcart.
There's an explanation. An explanation. They say it carries you along. It comes and calls and carries you along.
Doctor.
It comes and calls to you out of the silence in the voice of the bush, the voice of wind and water and the cries of animals.
Doctor, please.
The perfume of it drenches you, chokes you, sickens you. The perfume of the dead and stinking vegetation. And you have to go. It calls you, carries you, rushes you away through the bush so that your feet burn like fire.
Doctor, don't,
It
please.
carries you in great leaps to your destruction. Your feet burning, the wind bursting the blood vessels behind the eyes. And then you become an animal, a living, dead thing, like the thing itself.
Will you stop it, Doctor?
And then it drops you, and you stagger away to die.
Doctor, stop it. Remember what you told me. There is an explanation.
I am wrapped around with a wall of silence. The silent snow, the silent trees, the silent forest, the silent wall of wilderness. They all listen. The listening snow, the listening trees. There is something out there in the forest, and they listen for its voice.
Then there was the time of the wolf in Rat Portage. They tell this story many times of Defago. The time I fight the wolf with these bare hands. Shall I tell you that one, huh?
With your bare hands?
Go on, Defago. We don't doubt your fallacy for a moment.
Thank you, Doctor. Punkwa. Where's that old Indian?
I was here a moment ago.
Punkwa! Come back here and stir up the fire.
Well, what about this wolf?
I'm sorry for this one, I tell you. This wolf who makes the big mistake. He picks a man who is afraid of nothing, who knows the woods better than the wolf himself.
That's when it began. Defago the guide in slouch hat and moccasins, spinning his yarns by the campfire. A breath of wintry wind stealing out of the forest to rustle the tent flaps and stir the blaze. Our Indian cook somewhere in the shadows. Dr. Cathcart watching Defago with cynical eyes. And the fourth of our hunting party, myself, Ray Simpson, nervous and tense, as though expecting the thing that was about to happen.
I come many miles in the snowshoes that time. I am very tired. I say to myself, Defago, my boy, you will sit here a while. You'll rest. But then I am sleepy. And what do you know? I am sound asleep in the snow. Now, this is not at the best of times the very best of ideas, you understand. What do you think? Along comes this Mr. Wolf. And he looks at me and he tells himself, how magnificent. What a triumph. Here is a man, says Mr. Wolf, who's overcome by the cold. And what a pleasant meal I will make myself. But he is so wrong. I open my eyes, and there is Mr. Wolf looking into my face with his long white teeth already. So I say...
What is it?
What's the matter with you, man?
Listen.
What is it, Defago? What are you listening for? Are you trying to get a rise out of us?
Quiet. Did you hear it?
No, not a thing.
You heard nothing in the woods?
No. Stop this little game. You can't frighten me with this nonsense, Defago, but you've scared the living daylights out of Ray.
You heard nothing but the wind?
Yes, that's all.
Did you smell something just then?
Smell something? Really now, Defago?
Only the fire. Why? What is it?
It was nothing then. It was my imagination. Punkwa! Where's that Indian? The fire will go out.
You'll probably find him in your tent, hiding from the Wendigo after your little performance.
Punkwa! You know that story then, Doctor?
Well, I'm interested in other things besides medicine and hunting moose. For example, native superstitions and the vagaries of the human mind. That's why you don't take me in with your little game.
Little game?
Of course. The dark forest full of unseen things surrounding us, the fire fading, working on the imagination. And then you decide to play your little trick. Very childish, Defago.
If it does not disturb you, then why are you angry?
Childishness always irritates me, Defago.
Doctor, what was that you mentioned? The Wendigo?
Just some Indian nonsense.
Yes, that's all. Punkwa! I better look for that fella. I will have a look in the tent.
All right. It was a very queer thing, Doctor.
Tomfoolery.
You think he was acting?
Certainly.
Breaking off in his story that way and staring wildly into the bush.
Well, don't you think he was acting?
He went white to the gills. Didn't you see his eye?
Nonsense, boy. That man has lived his whole life in the bush. There's nothing here to frighten him. Unless he's superstitious like that Indian.
Superstitious?
Well, you could see that, couldn't you, eh?
No, Doctor. I couldn't tell anything from Punkwa's face. It was like trying to read the expression on a piece of old leather.
didn't want us to come up here. Said we wouldn't find so much as a fresh trail of moose anywhere in the 50-island water country.
Well, we haven't.
We will.
It's funny.
What?
Well, this afternoon when Defargo went off into the bush looking for signs of moose, I couldn't help thinking, Doctor, what would we do if he didn't come back?
What do you think we'd do? We'd go home without him.
Do you know the way?
You're talking foolishness, Ray. Why would Defargo disappear? He didn't. He's here.
Yes. All the same, I had a feeling of what it would be like to be alone, at the mercy of all this desolation that takes no notice of man.
You old fool. Superstitious fool.
What is it, Defargo?
It's the old fool. That's what it is.
Where is he?
What's he doing?
It's what we will be doing. From now on, we have no cook. The hunters will have to be cookers, too.
Why?
What's happened?
Superstitious old fool. He's taken one of the canoes.
What for? Where's he going?
I know that one. He is gone. He's gone. Home.
Then it's your own fault. Probably scared him witless with that little game of yours.
But, Doctor...
Now you'll have to figure out how we get along without him. Well, as for me, I'm turning in. We'll be up with the sun, Defargo, and I'll expect less nonsense and more results tomorrow.
Good night, Doctor.
I'll be along in a minute. Defargo, what was Punkwa afraid of?
Who knows? Sometimes in the wilderness, men become sick with a strange fever, a fever which makes them mad. Maybe he's afraid of that. Do you hear something?
Only wind.
Yes, only wind. Good night.
Good night, Defargo. I saw Defargo move off to his tent with the lantern spilling 100 moving shadows into the trees. I lay beside Dr. Cathcart on the bed of balsam boughs, and I felt a shadow lying between us. Not a shadow of the night, a shadow of the strange fear that had leaped upon Defargo in the middle of his joking. It crept through the canvas from the world of crowding trees. I felt in my soul the profound stillness of a primeval forest when no wind stirs. Then I slept. Or so I thought. No. I was lying with my eyes open, listening intently, with the running of my blood beating drums in my ears.
Ray.
Doctor?
What is that sound?
Listen. What? It's from the other tent. It's Defargo.
The fool is dreaming.
I'll see if he's all right. Defargo. Defargo, what's the matter? Are you awake? Defargo. Defargo, you're dreaming. Oh, that's better. What is this? A man sobbing like a child while this whole awful wilderness of woods listens? Defargo! What is it? Doctor.
I hear it.
What is it?
Quiet.
Something's happening to Defargo.
Keep still.
I'm going out.
No!
Let go.
Stay where you are.
I've got to help Defargo.
Will you stay where you are? Will you keep quiet? Listen.
Doctor.
Quiet. Fire. Fire. Oh, fire. Oh, my burning feet. Oh, fire! Oh, fire! Oh, my burning feet! Oh, my burning feet! My burning feet!
He's gone.
What?
Gone.
Gone.
Doctor, listen to me.
What?
Our guide, Dr. Defago, he's gone. We're alone. What was that, Doctor? What is it that happened? We crept from our tent like terrified children. The gray light of dawn was dropping cold and glimmering between the trees. The lake was white beneath a coating of mist, the islands rising darkly out of it like prowling creatures. Patches of snow glistened among the clearest spaces of the bush. Defago's tent stood empty, lifeless, and there was nothing but silence. Silence and a strange, penetrating perfume invading the nostrils and taking me by the throat like an unseen hand. There's nothing here at all.
No.
Not a sign of anything.
No.
Only his footsteps.
Footsteps.
There in the snow.
Yes.
So far apart. He must have been leaping like a rabbit. What was it, Doctor?
What was it?
Something came.
No.
Something came for him. Something called.
Nonsense.
You heard it, Doctor. You know you heard
I heard nothing. Yes, I heard something. Wind. That's all it was, wind.
Wind? Where did you ever hear a wind like that?
I tell you, it was wind. That and your imagination. Defago carrying on like that, it was enough to make you imagine anything.
Then why did you hold me back?
What do you mean?
You know what I mean, Doctor. When I wanted to go out and help Defago, why wouldn't you let me go?
I had reasons. 2 reasons. Yes, 2 good reasons.
What reason?
I knew what that sound was. It was some sort of hurricane. I thought it safest not to move. And I could hear that Defago was growing mad. He might have harmed you.
Nothing was disturbed, not a leaf. What kind of a hurricane is that?
How do I know? It probably passed overhead.
Then where is Defago?
Yes, that's the point. We can't get out of this country without him.
We've got to find him and help him. Defago! Defago!
That's no good. He's beyond earshot.
How do you know?
Because we heard him go, shouting all the way. We'll have to follow his trail. Come on.
Doctor.
Well?
We heard him run clear out of range of our hearing.
What about it?
How far would we hear him shouting like that?
I don't know. Half a mile.
But, Doctor, it all took about 15 seconds.
15 seconds?
How fast can a man run?
Ah, there's the end of the trail.
No more snow.
Trees are too thick for it here, and of course that's the way he chose to run.
How will we find him?
He must have been tearing himself to pieces rushing through the bush like that.
We've got to find him. We've got to keep going.
No, this is no use. We'll only lose ourselves.
Without Defago, we're lost anyway. We've got to keep after him.
No, listen to me, Ray.
Defago! Nothing.
Now listen, Ray, we must stop running around like frightened, superstitious women.
And what do we do?
We're going back to camp. We're going to organize ourselves for a systematic search.
You're so rational. You're so ready with explanations. How do you know we'll ever find him?
He can't be far.
How can you explain it all away, Doctor? His rushing away so fast, the crazy words he was using, that perfume in the air and that sound, you can't explain
Ray,
that.
There's an explanation for everything. We are going to keep our heads, or we'll lose them like Defago. Now, let's get going.
The second time we set out from camp, we took food and matches. Dr. Cathcart carried the new .303 rifle of which he was so proud, and I took a hatchet, blazing the trees as we traveled in a wide sweep in search of Defago's trail.
Ray!
What is it?
Come and look. Here it is.
We found it.
Yes. Those are the tracks of human feet, sure enough.
Defago's, of
yes.
course.
But what's this beside them?
Beside them?
Yes, look here.
Oh, animal tracks.
There you have your simple explanation for the whole affair, Ray.
Why? How does that explain anything, Doctor?
Those big marks have been left by a bull moose. Now I know what happened.
Well?
The wind against it, the moose blundered into camp. It uttered a cry of alarm, which we heard in the wind. Defago heard it, too, in his sleep. Remember the nightmare he was having?
Yes, but why did he...
He's a superstitious fellow. And that Indian had filled him with stories about the Wendigo. He suffered a temporary derangement, perhaps nothing more than panic. And now he's tracking the animal.
Yes. Could be.
We have nothing more to fear. Let's take a breather. And a bite of food before we go on.
Oh, you were right. You were right. There is an explanation for everything, Doctor. And if you knew the kinds of explanation that have been going through my mind.
I know. Here. Take a couple of sandwiches.
Thanks, Doctor.
I got the water there and parched.
Here.
Thanks. It's a relief.
That's the second time you've mentioned this Wendigo thing. What is it, Doctor?
Oh, only nonsense.
Indian legend of some sort?
About the size of it.
Oh, it's funny the comfort I feel. Sitting on a stone in the middle of nowhere, looking at Defago's footprints.
Yes, telling such a normal story. Hunter trailing moose.
This Wendigo thing. Did it have something to do with Punkwa deserting?
Perhaps.
What sort of a thing is it supposed to be, Doctor?
Well, in this part of the country, when an Indian goes mad, they say he has seen the Wendigo.
Oh. The Wendigo's a state of mind.
Yes, you could call it that. There is no such thing.
No such thing?
What they say out here. They say out here are spaces no man can penetrate. This creature lives there, this Wendigo.
Creature?
The Wendigo.
Huh?
They say it's a kind of animal. It's a state of mind.
Kind of animal? Doctor, look here a minute.
What is it?
The moose tracks. You must be a big one.
You're right.
Big, round tracks. Look here. Does this look like a hoof mark to you?
No.
Caribou?
Oh, that would be hoof marks.
Bear?
No, it isn't bear.
Doctor, I think we'd better get moving again.
Yes.
You loaded it, Doctor.
It's a bear track.
Is it?
What are you doing? Why are you kneeling there?
I thought I smelled something.
You're acting like a fool. Do you want to lose your mind like Defago?
Then you think he's gone after all.
No, I told you what that was. Get your nose out of that track. You're out of your mind.
Dr. Cathcart, don't you think we should turn back?
Why do you talk such nonsense?
There's perfume in that track.
Oh. If you let your mind go like that, there's no knowing what you'll imagine next. We've lost enough time. We've got to find Defago.
We went on mile after mile. I dreaded the essential tapping of the axe on the massive trunks. The sound went before us into the dim forest where something was waiting and listening. The doctor pressed on, faster and furious, like a man who denies something he really believes. And the tracks became increasingly strange and unbelievable.
There's an explanation. An explanation.
How much did you measure?
18 feet. 18 feet from one step to the next.
Well, let's check back. We must be missing some tracks.
No, there it is in the snow. Defago took 18-foot leaps.
So he'd been lifted and carried.
Lifted and carried by what?
The beast.
That's what they say. They say it carries you along. It comes and calls and carries you along.
Doctor?
It comes and calls to you out of the silence with the voice of the bush, the voice of wind and water and the cries of animals.
Doctor, please.
The perfume of it drenches you, chokes you, sickens you. The perfume of dead and stinking vegetation. And you have to go. It calls you. It carries you. It rushes you away through the bush so that your feet burn like fire. That's what he said, didn't he? Feet of fire.
Doctor, don't
It
please.
carries you in a great screaming leaps to your destruction with your feet burning and the wind bursting the blood vessels behind the eyes. And then you become an animal, the living, dead thing like the thing itself, and it drops you, and you stagger away to die.
Dr. Cathcart, will you stop it, please? This is not like you. Remember what you told me. There is an explanation.
Yes, an explanation. Let's look ahead. Check those footprints and the animals.
Yes. Now, it just may be that our eyes are playing us tricks, or else...
Yes? Yes, Ray. What is it?
Those aren't Defago's footprints.
What?
We've lost them somehow. Where did he go?
Lost them? How could we lose them?
And they end here, both sets.
There! You see, we didn't lose them. There are still 2 sets of tracks.
Where did they go? Up in the air?
There's an explanation.
And those aren't Defargo's. Look at them. There were 2 animals here. We've lost Defargo somewhere back.
No, we haven't. Those are Defargo's. This is the end of the trail. This is where it left him.
Then where is he? Defargo!
Don't call him. Don't call him.
The big trees closed in on us like gangsters. I stared around with no power of thought, no judgment. The feet that printed the surface of the snow had come this far, and then nothing. And here were Defargo's prints, neat, round duplications of the strange animal track. The feet that produced them had therefore changed, and my mind reared up with loathing and incredulous bewilderment.
Don't call him. Don't.
Doctor, get hold of yourself.
We're going back.
But we have to find Defargo.
We'll never find him.
We'll die in these woods without him.
That's better.
Better? Why?
I tell you, we're going back. We have to give it up.
But, Doctor, please.
We have to give it up.
All right, then. Let's go back.
Good. If we hurry, we can make the camp by nightfall.
Yes, of course.
We will have it all explained. You'll see, Ray.
Yes.
Hopelessly lost. It happens in these woods, even with a man like Defargo. There's no chance. We've done everything.
There he is.
What?
Coming through the woods. It's Defargo.
No, wait.
It's Defargo. Defargo!
It isn't Defargo.
It is Defargo! You see?
No, it isn't Defargo.
Yes.
Not anymore.
What do you mean?
Keep him away. Keep him away.
Doctor, please. Doctor, put down that gun.
Keep him away.
Doctor! You're out of your mind.
It's all a lie.
Give me that gun.
All a lie. Superstition, I defy you.
Doctor, control yourself.
All in the mind. You're nothing. Here it comes, and it's nothing. Listen to it come. It comes for me. I'm coming. Oh, the fire. The fire. The fire. Oh, the fire. The burning fire. The fire.
There's Defargo here in the snow. He looks no different, except that he's dead. And I'm alone. I'm wrapped with a wall of silence. The silent snow, the silent forest, the silent wall of wilderness. They all listen. The listening snow, the listening trees. There is something out there in the forest, and they listen for its voice.
Mystery Theater has presented The Wendigo, a tale of the supernatural by George Selverson, based on a story by Algernon Blackwood. In the cast, Robert Christie as Dr. Cathcart, Ed Wilson as Simpson, and Murray Westgate as Defargo. Sound effects were by John Sliz, and technical operation by Robert Burt. This is Bill Lorne speaking.
Hey Race, another Nightfall episode. This one is called Ringing the Changes, which was dramatized for radio by P. Norman Cherry, original by Robert Aikman. The honeymooners insist, and their hotel reservation is honored. Unfortunately, it is the night the dead are raised.
In the dream, you are falling, lost in the listening distance, as dark locks in. Nightfall. Good evening. Tonight, in honor of an occasion that's dear to us all, we're presenting a special love story for lovers of all ages. The play, based on the short story by Robert Aickman, is called Ringing the Changes.
When an older man takes a very young wife, he can't be quite so easygoing about it as your average husband. The haphazard is replaced with much deep planning, with special little schemes to wall in happiness. So my wife and I decided that our honeymoon would be our own invention, at no one else's time or place. Instead of June, we were married on the last day of October. And late that very afternoon, we reached what we were sure was a dream retreat for us alone. An old-world village on the East Coast. Holy Haven was so forgotten and obscure, we were astonished to find a tiny branch line train still ran there. A village at the end of things, we said. Perhaps they tried to warn us. The dead leaves stirred by the crawling train, even the sullen station master. But Fryn and I paid no attention. We had no sense that past the end of things lay horror. I think the railway company is as surprised as we are, darling. But we're here.
Exhaustion makes you cynical, Gerald. Do remember the bags.
I'm not that old.
Sir, madam.
Good afternoon.
I'm afraid you've made a mistake. Castleith is the next station on the line. This is Holyhaven.
And this is exactly where we're meant to be.
There's no mistake. Our tickets are for Holyhaven here.
You'd best come inside.
Rather grand station for such an empty place. Bit like one's grandmother all dressed for party and nobody came.
We're here, darling. Party of two.
Too many for them. Look at the porter.
Well, who are they?
Visitors.
Tonight?
Well, that's what the tickets say. Have you a room booked?
Yes, at the Bell Hotel.
The Bell? Tonight of all nights.
It's them Pascoes.
Yes, that's the name. Pasco.
We don't use the Bell, but you'll find it in Rack Street. Straight ahead, down Station Road, then down Rack Street. You can't miss it.
Thank you. I wanted to be... Oh, isn't the Bell?
They're starting early.
Every reason to be in good time.
It's very slow. I hope it's not... What do you call it? A passing bell?
Passing?
Why, no, ma'am. Not a passing bell exactly. More like calling.
Yes. Is there someone who could take our bags to the hotel?
We don't go to the Bell.
I see. Well, I'm sure we can walk. Come on, Fryn. And thank you for being so helpful.
You're welcome.
I'll say one thing to you, not a word more.
Yes?
There'll be more bells.
I suppose they have to practice sometime.
We like church bells, we do, really.
It's not the ringing. It's when they stop.
Well?
When the bells stop, you go and lock yourselves away. As far away as you can. For so long as you may.
horrible old men. I know we wanted to get away from all that grand hotel bowing and scraping, but... do you think we overdid it?
Mustn't blame them too much. We're probably the only visitors they've had all year. They have to practice their local colour on somebody, huh? When the year's bells stop, run thee and I, huh?
Speaking of hiding, where's everybody got to? It's not 6 o'clock yet, and the place is like a tomb.
Where's the hotel got to?
Poor Gerald. Let me help.
I'm quite all right, thank you.
Oh, don't go all stiff upper lip on me. I married you because you were too old to take yourself seriously. You weren't at all like those 1,000-year-old boys I had to go to dances with.
Never too old to stuff a shirt.
Well, the station master said there'd be more. I wish they'd play God Rest Ye Merry Gentlemen or something.
Yes, it does sound funereal. Listen. There's a faint echo.
All these narrow stone streets, I should think.
They follow the lines of the medieval city. Before the rivers silted up, these towns were some of the most important seaports in England. Now, they're preserved under glass.
Oh, it's like an empty stage set. I wonder what happens when the curtain goes up.
Friend.
What is it?
Look. We just passed it. Our hotel. See, the bell over the door.
Oh, thank God. However did we do that?
Lord knows.
At least it's not cold.
Well, the East Coast, and this time of the year is incredibly warm.
You know, I think it's getting warmer.
Yes?
Mrs. Pascoe?
Yes?
I'm Gerald Horsted, and this is my wife, Fryn. We have reservations for the hotel tonight?
No. Not tonight.
Mrs. Pascoe, I have a reservation for the Bell Hotel in Holyhaven, confirmed to our agent in London by telephone in the name of D. Pascoe, here.
Oh, God. Don did this.
Don?
My husband. He's not very well.
Mrs. Pascoe, we have reservations here. The last train has gone, and we may not be very well either if we spend the night in the street.
God, no, you can't do that. You mustn't stay in the street. Come in quickly.
Thank you. I think we'd better.
I'm sorry your husband's unwell, Mrs. Pascoe.
Oh, you know what men are like when they're ill.
Impossible. Or very difficult.
It's his stomach. He takes things for it. Sometimes he takes too much.
Oh, I see.
No, you don't. But you may. You'd better sign the register.
The last entry is quite a long time ago.
We're always quiet here.
We did want to come out of season.
Out of season? Quite. A sign here, please.
Are we alone in the house?
Except for Commandant Shotcroft. You won't mind him, will you? He's a regular.
I'm sure we shan't.
People say the house wouldn't be the same without the Commandant.
I'm sure. Do you mind telling us what those bells are?
Practice.
So many at once?
They have ways of their own in Holyhaven. Here's your key. Room number 7. If you'll excuse me, I have to see Don. Dinner's at 7:30. You have time for a drink in the bar first.
We certainly have. It's only just 6.
Actually, I like church bells.
All very well. But on one's honeymoon, they distract the attention.
Not mine.
You want to see the room?
Not yet. And I don't want to drink. I want to see the ocean while there's still light.
Anything to get away from the bells. Let's go and find the sea.
Gerald!
What is it?
Not what is it? Where is it? It's dark already. Where's the sea?
Well, they must keep it somewhere. These weeds and great bloody rocks can't go on forever.
You can certainly smell it. Honest sea smell.
If you say so. I don't ever remember it so strong.
Come out, wherever you are.
Prin? Darling? Prin! Prin! Where are you? Prin, for God's sake!
Sorry, darling. Panic over.
Oh, what the hell happened?
I stood on something.
You're all right?
Think so.
Oh, the smell's worse than ever.
I think it's coming from what I stepped on. My foot went right in, and then there was the smell.
I never known anything like it. Please, darling, let's go back.
All right. But I must warn you, I'm very disappointed. I think that seaside attractions should include the sea.
Take my arm, darling. That's it, now.
Look how far away the lights of the town are.
Yes. There isn't a sea.
Gerald?
Hmm?
Listen to the bells.
It can't be.
They're coming from all the churches, aren't they?
Impossible. All the churches on the same night?
I'm quite sure. I can hear one lot of bells with my right ear and another with my left.
Prin?
Hmm?
What do you think it was you stepped on?
It was something soft. Something soft and... And bone. All things considered, darling, the food might have been worse. And the bedroom is beautiful.
Ah.
Do you know I've never slept in a four-poster?
I don't know how we'll sleep in anything with that damn noise.
It's going to stop, remember? They promised us. And anyway, what makes you think you're going to sleep? Meantime, I want a nightcap.
I'll bring it to you on the lounge.
Cumel, I think.
Uh-huh.
If either of them are sober enough to pour.
I'll steal some and charge it to the invisible commandant. Well then, bar unattended. Landlord! Service! Kellner! Anybody home? Good God. You. Mr. Pascoe, I presume. Don? A double cognac and a cumel, please. And if it's not too much to ask... Hmm? Oh, oops, Daisy. I think, Mr. Pascoe, you'd better let me pour. Since I don't see any more brandy, I guess it's 2 cumels.
Fool.
Yes, well, perhaps, but I'm not a thief, Mr. Pascoe. I'll remind your wife to add them to the bill in the morning.
Run!
Hmm?
Run!
What? Oh, frankly, there's nothing I'd like better, Mr. Pascoe. But I see no way until morning. And if you'll excuse me, I'd better go and see to my wife whom I got into this bloody mess in the first place. I'm sorry, darling. I got involved with the ineffable Don. Lord, it's dark in here. Where are you?
Lower your voice, Mr. Halstead.
What?
Speak more softly. Your wife has fallen asleep by the fire. You should not have left her alone.
She seems to have had a guardian. I presume you are Commandant Shotcroft.
No need to presume.
Thank you for your concern. I had a run-in with our drunken host.
He was a fine man once. Don't think otherwise.
Not my type.
DSO and bar. DFC and bar.
And now bar only, eh? Why?
He got into trouble. He wasn't the kind of man to know about human nature and all its rottenness.
Did he? But even so, isn't this the best place for him?
The worst. For him or anyone else.
Certainly a damn noisy place.
Why did you have to come tonight of all nights?
This doesn't happen often?
Once every year.
They should have told us.
They don't usually accept bookings. When Pascoe was himself, they never did.
How can she control him now?
A woman try to control a man.
Does she have an alternative?
At heart, women are creatures of darkness all the time. Take her away, man.
In a day or two, when...
Now. Now there's still time. This instant.
They can hardly go on practicing all night.
Practicing?
And what are they doing?
They're ringing to wake the dead.
That's a figure of speech.
In Holy Haven, on this night of the year, on All Hallows Eve.
On Halloween? Jack-o'-lanterns, witches...
Fool! Look at your wife. You see? She hears them in her sleep.
What happens?
No one can tell how long they have to go on ringing. It varies from year to year. You should be all right for another half hour or so. In the end, the dead awake. First, one or two. Then, all of them.
And the sea?
Draws back. You've seen it yourself, then. In a place like this, there are always several drowned each year, but that's only a few. Most of them come not from the water, but from the earth. It is not a pretty sight.
Where do they go?
Do you think I'd follow them to find out?
You advise me to go. Where?
Where doesn't matter.
I have no car.
Then you'd better walk with her. She's young and strong. She's 20 years younger than you. And therefore 20 years more important.
What about you?
I've lived here a long time now. I know what to do.
And the Pascoes?
He's drunk. There's nothing in or out of the world to fear if you're thoroughly drunk. Your wife is wakening. I don't think there's anything more to say. You should still have time.
You make me wish I had a Bible.
Isaiah might be useful.
Repent, O Jerusalem, eh?
I had a more specific verse in mind. The satyr shall cry to his fellow. Good night, Mr. Halstead.
Hello, Gerald. Oh, what fun. The bells are still ringing.
Wren, come away. Come away at once. We're leaving here now.
But now? What about our bags? What about...
Never mind the bags. Leave everything. Just pray the front door isn't padlocked. Hurry! For God's sakes, hurry! Only one bolt! Time. Still time. Ah!
Listen to the bells. They're like plunging horses in the sky.
Which way did you come? I can't... The bells. They stopped.
Where are my bells?
Why did they stop?
The dead are awake.
Too late.
The dead are awake.
We're too late.
The dead are awake.
The bells are gone.
Oh, merciful God!
What was that? They just ran down the street.
You didn't see it, did you?
A man, I think. Very dark. And holding some kind of cloth over his head.
That's all you saw?
I think so.
Thank God. Get in. Get in here quickly.
Where can we go?
Our room. It's the only place left. Our room. And lock everything we can between. The Commandant warned me. We should have gone.
Nowhere to go. I don't expect they'll trouble us.
Where's that damn light? It's dark as worse than anything. Yeah, the current's gone. Nothing to see till daylight.
Gerald, don't leave me.
I'm right here, darling. We'll wait it out no matter what happens.
Listen.
My God.
They're coming. They're coming here.
Get a grip on yourself. They don't want us. We don't belong here.
That's why they're coming.
Friend, it's only fear. It's extraordinary how frightened one can be, even when one knows there's no direct menace, none.
No menace?
We'll think of something else.
Do you think we can?
Of course we can. It's only till tomorrow.
They can't be actually dangerous, or it would be stopped.
Of course, of course.
They've broken the street door. They're in the hotel.
Stay quiet. For God's sakes, stay quiet.
They're coming up the stairs.
Shut up. Shut up. They'll hear us.
What do the dead hear, Gerald? What do they hear? Now's the place. Now's the weather. The living and the dead dance together. Now's the time.
The next I knew, there was light in the windows, and the wrecked bedroom was empty. How I got downstairs, I don't know. But there she was. Her nightdress was so torn that she was almost naked.
Darling, look at you.
Look at me. Oh, my darling.
Here I am. Not to worry.
We're not going to talk about it now. You must be in shock. We'll walk to the main road and flag a car. And for God's sakes, Take my raincoat. You can't go tromping the countryside looking like something from the Folies Bergère. In Rack Street, a milkman was delivering as we passed, but his cart bore the name of another town. When we reached the station road, we saw a small plot of land on which already men were silently at work with spades in their hands. We'd missed it last night, but in the grey light, we saw a signboard. New Municipal Cemetery. The diggers were as thick as flies on a wound, and as black. Don't look, Fryn. Turn your head. Don't look.
Why, darling? Why ever not?
She spoke to me, but looked at them. And I stared at her hard for a moment. Then once more, she became herself. In those few seconds, I became aware of something dividing us, which neither of us would ever mention or forget.
This is another Vanishing Point episode. This is called Disappearance. A bartender's quest for spiritual enlightenment leads him to question the importance of the material world. But as he finds himself plagued by a host of baffling disappearances, he and the listener must finally question the nature of reality itself. Written by David Helwig.
Roger has heard it all. He's a bartender. People like to talk to Roger, tell him what's on their mind. Memories pile up, minute by minute, one on top of the other, turning the mind into a trash heap, reducing the experience of now to, well, to just another memory. Is that all there is? Oh, to let go. What harm could there possibly be in that?
Guy never comes to meet you anymore.
Who?
The quiet one who used to come in just before closing time and order tomato juice.
Nope.
You lost interest, or did he?
It was a little bit more complicated than that.
And not my business.
Right.
You want me to check the doors?
No, I'll do it.
Oh, I'll rinse those glasses for you.
Oh, thanks.
Going out the back or the front?
Front.
Me too.
Can I give you a ride home?
Oh, okay.
I've been wondering about you ever since I started working there.
Wondering how?
Well, I don't know exactly. You look at some people and you get interested in what's happening inside them. And besides that, you're pretty.
It's just an effect of the light.
I like the effect of the light.
Do you?
Yes. Do you want me to go?
Yes, I guess so.
Can I come back?
Maybe. I don't know. This isn't really my kind of thing. Men and...
You mean other women?
No, that's not what I mean.
I don't understand.
Oh, maybe sometime I'll try to explain.
Okay. You're sure you want me to go?
Yes. Mm-hmm. 'Cause 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 'c
Oh, you could come more often.
You see more of me than most mothers see of their son.
Be careful.
Oh, clean it up.
Oh, that was one of the good ones.
Cup's a cup, Mother.
Oh, that's English bone china.
Not anymore, it isn't.
Don't you have any feeling about it at all?
It's a thing, Mother. It's a cup. You have other cups. If it was your last cup, then it might be important.
Well, these things matter to me.
I know.
Now, I've been thinking about the good silver. And when I'm away sometime, a thief could break in here, and that good silver I got from your grandmother would be the first thing he'd take.
You're going to build a vault for it?
Well, I put it in the trunk of the car.
What?
Well, they'd never think to look there. And they'd have a hard time breaking in.
That's ridiculous.
Well, it's not as ridiculous as losing that good silver.
Well, what would happen if you didn't have that silver? You never use it.
Now, things aren't important just because you use them.
Things aren't important at all.
Some things are.
Like what?
Like that silver.
Why?
I don't know. It's just because it is.
Well, you don't own that silver, Mother. It owns you. The silver cries out that it's threatened, and you leap to defend it.
Oh, you do say such silly things. Here, now, help me finish these dishes.
Can I get another of these?
Please.
I should probably go home, shouldn't I?
That's really up to you.
3 draft, please, Roger.
Okay. Vodka.
I don't want to go home.
Here's your 3 draft, Linda.
Thanks.
Why don't you want to go?
Because I go home every night. And he's always waiting there. Or, I get home first and I'm waiting for him. Well, not that there's anything wrong with him.
What's the trouble?
Do you live with somebody?
No. Well, not right now.
2 rye on ice and a scotch straight up.
Okay, if you see Jerry, tell him we're short of ice.
So you don't live with anybody. You don't have somebody waiting for you and expecting you. The same old face you see every day and until you can't tell whether you're looking at his face or your own.
Maybe you should leave.
Yeah, that's what I keep thinking. But it doesn't seem to make much sense. I mean, he's a nice guy.
So what's wrong?
Yeah, that's what my friends say to me. And I say it's just like Mount Everest. I mean, he's always there. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, maybe.
See you tomorrow, man.
Yeah. See ya.
Night.
You got all the tables done?
Yeah. I'll help you with those glasses.
Nah, it's okay. Sit down and rest your feet.
Is Jerry coming back?
No. He asked me to lock up.
It was a pretty big night, wasn't it?
It's funny to watch people drink.
Yeah. The more I see people drink, the less likely I am to start.
You ever wonder why they do it?
It creates the illusion of freedom.
I was talking to a woman at the bar tonight who was trying to explain why she didn't want to go home to some perfectly nice man.
Did you understand?
In a way. You want to ride home?
I guess.
Well, I'm done here. You ready?
Yep. Oh, nice night.
Isn't it? Hey, my car's gone. I parked it right here. I'm sure I did.
Usually you park around the corner.
And that's why I remember I can never get a place this close.
It's not here anymore.
That's a legal parking place. No reason for the cops to move it. Somebody must have stolen it.
It's certainly gone.
Well, what am I going to do?
Guess you'll have to walk home.
Now, you're sure that's where you left it?
Yes, I am. I drove to work, and when I came out, it was gone.
You finished work at 1:30 in the morning?
I'm a bartender.
You drink while you're at work?
No. I was cold sober, and I was with a friend, and she was cold sober, too.
Did you look around the neighborhood? Sometimes people forget where they parked.
Yes, I thought of that. Just in case, I checked all the streets where I normally park.
Okay, I'll put a report in. See if it shows up on the computer.
Look, there isn't any chance that you people towed it away for some reason. It was a legal parking place, but you never know.
We don't just tow cars away for no reason.
Well, maybe there was some reason that I don't know about.
If we've got it, it'll show up on the computer.
I keep seeing the car on the street, but it's never mine.
Why do you let it bother you?
I don't know.
Is it really very important?
Well, I guess it must be.
Why?
That's what I said to my mother just last week. She was worrying about a broken cup and somebody stealing her silver. And now I'm doing the same thing.
Do you really need the car?
No. Maybe I'm better off without it.
Have you ever noticed how nobody talks about the soul anymore?
Well, what's that got to do with it?
Isn't that what you were talking to your mother about?
I don't know. Yeah, maybe.
You always looked to me like a man who wanted to let go of a lot of things he was tangled up in.
It's nice talking to you like this.
Good.
Well, it's late. Yeah. Maybe I should go.
Probably.
You want me to go?
Yeah.
You got the paychecks in here, Jerry?
Yeah. Here you go.
Thanks.
Every week when I give you your check, I expect you to tell me you're quitting.
Why?
It's kind of a dead-end job. Bartending. I mean, you look like somebody who'd want something better.
Oh, I like it okay. Gives me time to think.
Think? What's to think about?
All kinds of things. Yesterday I was looking at a diary I used to keep, and I wrote about how I used to go to the zoo every week, and every time I'd see this one animal, how it walked back and forth in its cage, and I started to think how most people's lives are like that, except the cage is a bit bigger. So they go to work, they come home, they go to sleep, they get up.
Look, it's simple, Roger. You try to do something with your life. Get out of the cage.
No, that doesn't seem to be what I'm looking for.
But that's all there is. I mean, you look around and you see what kind of chances there are, and you grab for them. If you don't, well, it's like you say, you're just a monkey in a zoo.
But ambition makes you a monkey who keeps learning new tricks.
That's all there is. Old tricks and new tricks.
No, there's more than that. There's something inside the soul.
Come on. I don't even know what the word means.
Tom MacArthur's getting married.
To who?
That Robertson girl you knew in high school.
I don't remember any Robertson girl.
Oh, don't be ridiculous. I think you even went out with her a couple of times.
I don't remember that.
Well, anyway, she went away after high school, and then she got a job here and moved back.
And she's marrying Tom MacArthur, whoever he is.
Now, you're not going to tell me you don't remember Tom MacArthur.
Yes, I remember Tom MacArthur. Though I don't know why. Well, I better get going. By the time I catch my bus and get home, it'll be late.
Well, why didn't you drive? Is there something wrong with your car?
It's gone.
What do you mean, it's gone?
Stolen, I guess. I came out of work a few nights ago and it wasn't there.
I suppose you left the keys in it.
No, of course not.
Well, how else could they steal it?
I don't know. Hotwire it, I guess.
Did you go to the police?
Yes.
Well, maybe they can find it.
Well, they don't seem very hopeful.
What about insurance?
I just had liability insurance. That won't replace the car.
That's terrible.
Well, I find I can get along fine without it.
Well, that's not the point.
Yeah, what is?
Your car just gone like that? Just disappeared?
Oh, I hardly think about it anymore. I can't even think what it was like to have a car.
Roger, you're late. The other guy had to go, so I had to run the bar and everything else, too. I mean, you've been finding your way to work for months. How come you get lost now?
I don't know. Maybe because I was walking instead of driving. There's a bigger part where I always turn, but I couldn't find it. And the next thing I knew, I was in a bunch of streets that didn't make any sense. I was just wandering. Places I'd never seen before. Finally, I had to ask them for directions.
Roger. I mean, next time you're late, try the sick friend routine. It makes more sense.
It's true, Jerry. I got lost.
Well, why don't you get lost behind the bar for a while?
You want to walk across the park?
Isn't that out of your way?
Not much. I should be careful I don't get lost again.
You can always ask directions.
It's funny how that building seemed to disappear.
Yes.
Things are changing somehow. I seem to be forgetting a lot.
Maybe you're only forgetting what you don't need.
Do you think so?
Sometimes I think that our minds get more and more full of the past until there's no room for things to happen. And nothing does.
So we have to forget things before anything new can happen.
You have to have a kind of amnesia. Then you can be totally present in every moment. A saint.
No memory, no plan.
That's right.
Where did you learn these things?
They're just things I've worked out. Reading, thinking.
Are you ready for dinner?
Oh, it's nice to have something cooked for me for a change. I've been looking around your apartment. It seems awfully bare.
Well, I've been clearing things out. I want to get down to the things I need.
Roger, where are you getting these strange ideas?
From Linda, I guess.
Who is this Linda?
A friend.
Is it serious?
Well, yes, but not in the way you think. She teaches me things.
I can imagine.
There are things in the world besides sex, Mother.
So what does she teach you?
About what's inside me.
I've never been convinced that there was anything inside me but a lot of soft plumbing.
Inside the mind.
Where's that picture of you in your scout uniform? The one I always liked.
I got rid of it.
Why?
There's no point in living in the past.
You want to pour me about 27 more whiskeys?
How about starting with one?
I'll drink to that. Change.
Thanks.
I'm trying to work up my courage. Yeah, get out. Run away. Everything. Job, house, lot. See, I have this idea that I'd go to the Arctic and spend the winter there, all on my own. Oh, sure, I've been out there before. Wilderness camping, that kind of thing. Out there, you know what's real.
Isn't it possible to do that right here?
I don't see how.
Just let it all go. Make it not be.
I never went in for magic tricks.
It's only there if you let it be. That's what Fred says.
Hey, the only way it's not there is if I get on a plane and fly away.
Excuse me. Do you know this neighborhood?
Yes, I do.
Well, isn't there a record store somewhere near here?
I don't think so.
I'm sure there is. I bought a record there just last week. It was right beside the florist's.
I've lived around here for 10 years, and there was never a record store beside the florist.
I was there just last week.
You must be confused.
Are you still keeping your silver in the trunk of your car?
Oh, make fun of me all you like. I still think it's a good idea. Come and look at these photographs.
That whole pile?
No, just these. Where were they taken?
I'm not the person to ask.
Oh, you were there. Oh, there you are in the picture, making faces.
Photographs are funny things, aren't they?
Well, what do you mean?
Well, here are all these funny little gray and white things, and we assume that they show us something that really happened.
Well, of course they do. Now, try and remember where this was.
I won't remember. Forgetfulness is more my style these days.
What do you mean?
Things are disappearing.
Like what?
Yesterday I was looking for a record store. I was in it last week, right beside a florist shop. I talked to a woman who lived nearby, and she was so positive that I was wrong. It was quite funny.
Roger, do you think you should talk to someone?
Why should I do that?
Well, this business of forgetting when things disappear.
Now, that's only happening because I want it to.
Well, I think you should stop talking to that girl, that Linda.
Why?
She's the one who's doing these things to you.
Oh, but I feel good. Everything I see is brighter than it ever was before. Everything I hear is clearer.
But I'm frightened for you.
Is it dangerous?
You have to decide that. I can't tell you.
My mother's terrified.
But anyone who locks her silver in the trunk of the car must already be terrified.
Yeah, I suppose.
Are you frightened?
Sometimes I wonder what's going to happen.
Do you want to control it?
Maybe.
And then you end up back where you started.
Well, can't you stop halfway?
Guess you can try.
Excuse me, may I help you?
I'm looking for a recording of Mahler's 10th Symphony.
10?
That's right.
But he only wrote 9.
He wrote 10.
9. Beethoven, Mahler, and Bruckner, they all wrote 9.
I had a recording of Mahler's 10th. It got damaged. I had to throw it out.
It must have been the 9th. There's no 10th symphony.
I'm sure I had a record of it.
A symphony can't just disappear, can it?
Things happen, you know.
Have been what?
Disappearing.
Really?
You got a minute, Jerry?
Sure.
I wondered if you could work the schedule so that I could get a couple of days off.
Well, it won't be easy. What do you need time off for?
I don't know if I can explain it. I'm not sick or anything. I just feel kind of shaky.
Like how?
I can't explain it. It's just something strange is happening to me.
Maybe you should talk to somebody.
Yeah, maybe. Is Linda coming in today?
No, she's off. Has this got something to do with her?
Sort of.
Is she pregnant or something?
No, it's nothing like that. But I think she'd be a good person to talk to. She seems to understand.
This problem, is it kind of personal?
In a way.
Look, Roger, is this... I mean, do you figure you're gay? Something like that?
No, it's nothing like that, Jerry. It's not that kind of thing. Not like that.
You don't sound very good, Roger.
I'll be okay.
Look, I'll fix the schedule for you. Take a couple of days. Find somebody. Maybe talk it out.
Yeah. Oh, thanks.
When I was young, it was different.
How?
It just seemed easier. You weren't so tangled up in all the parts of your life. Yeah, maybe it was just the 60s. Yeah, all that talk about revolution. We all assumed that the inside and the outside fitted together. Yeah. I've been going to an analyst, Jungian, and that's what I've been trying to do, is find the key and let me find what's really going on inside me.
Excuse me?
What?
I was listening to what you were saying. I know I shouldn't have been, but...
Let's move to a different... Yeah.
I just want you to know that what you're saying, what you're talking about, it's dangerous, you know. Do you live here?
Yes.
Well, I'm looking for someone.
Who is it you want?
Her name's Linda. I need to talk to her. I think there's something missing in what I've learned. It doesn't seem to be working out right.
Is she some sort of therapist?
Oh, no, she's just a friend. See, I've been losing things. Or forgetting. Or I don't know which.
What's your name?
Well, does it matter?
No, I guess not.
Have you lived here very long?
3 years.
Then you probably know her.
Which apartment is she in?
The basement.
There's no apartment in the basement. Just the furnace and a laundry room.
I was there with her. I'm sure I was.
It must have been a different house.
There aren't any other big brick houses on this street, just apartment buildings.
She didn't live in one of those?
No.
You remember being here?
Yes.
But there's nobody named Linda living here. There never has been, in the time that I lived in the house.
Well, maybe I made a mistake. We work at the same place. I can see you're there.
Hi.
I've never seen you before.
I start here.
Well, I work here too, but I've been taking a couple of days off.
Oh, can I get you something?
Draft, I guess. When did you start?
Just today.
Is Linda here?
Oh, I don't know any Linda.
Well, she works here too.
Oh, I haven't met her. Guess she's not in today.
Things are disappearing.
What?
It's something happening to me. It's nice in a way. Like when I look at your face, it's as if there was a special light on it. It's as if I never saw a face before, and I didn't know what it was, so I can really concentrate.
Yeah?
Linda taught me how to do it, how to let go.
How?
I don't know, really. In a way, it just started to happen.
I don't think I really follow what you're talking about.
Oh, would you do me a favor? Would you go and check on the schedule and see when Linda's working?
Sure.
Is Jerry in?
No. I looked at the schedule.
Is Linda working tomorrow?
There's no Linda on the schedule.
What about me? My name's Roger. When do I start back?
There's no Roger there either.
Oh, I see. Well, thanks for looking. I guess I better go. Yes?
Roger, I've been worried about you.
Why?
You didn't come for dinner.
Was I supposed to?
On Wednesday, you always do.
Do I?
What's the matter with you?
Is something the matter with me?
You're looking at me so strangely.
Oh, I'm sorry. I hope I'm not being rude. It's just that I'm wondering why you came to my door.
I came looking for you.
Do I know you?
Roger!
Yes?
I'm your mother. You must remember me. I'm your mother.
Ah, well, now that you've told me, maybe I'll remember you.
Roger, you've got to get help.
Well, I don't need any help, but I'm going out now. Maybe you could visit some other time. Who did you say you were?
Roger!
What do you mean?
That. What is it?
It's a streetcar.
And what's that?
What?
What is it?
Store.
And that. What is it?
Hey, is this a joke? You're from a radio station or something?
No, but what is it?
It's a bicycle. Hey, you're serious, aren't you? Like this isn't a joke.
What's a joke?
You're crazy.
Oh, I'm not crazy.
Yeah, what are you then?
I am what I am.
What?
I'm kind of a saint. There's nothing in my mind pure being.
Roger got out of the cage all right, and turning around, it was gone. He was free at last of the dreadful captivity of things, memories. He'd have to tell Linda about it sometime, if he could find her out here where everything is so much brighter and clearer and vanishing.
Next up is Screaming Skull, another mystery theater show.
Time to tell tales of the unaccountable, of apparitions by night and phantoms in shadow. Time to tell strange stories of fantasy and the supernatural. Mystery Theater presents The Screaming Skull, a tale of the supernatural by George Selverson, based on a story by E. Marion Crawford, and starring Tommy Tweed as the captain and Hugh Webster as James.
This is the house, Captain?
It is, James.
Nice place for an old sea dog to retire to.
It's a pretty little property, just the thing for an old sailor like me who's taken to gardening.
You won't be gardening in this weather.
That's true, James. Let's get in out of the wet.
Listen to the wind and the sea. You must feel right at home here.
At home? Come in, James. Close the door.
Right.
Sit there by the fire. I'll put something in a glass to warm you.
Wonderful. It's a night for a burning log on the hearth.
And for Holland gin. This is the same I brought Luke from Amsterdam 25 years ago. He never touched a drop of it.
Luke was your cousin, Captain Braddock, wasn't he?
He was. That's how I came by this house. After he died and his boy Charlie was killed in South Africa, there were no relations left. Here now, see if this doesn't warm your blood, James.
Thank you. Wasn't there a Mrs. Pratt?
Yes, there was.
What happened to her?
Well, she died before Luke.
Oh, strong stuff, Captain. Listen. You can hear the tide.
Gloomy sound, isn't it?
Yes. Do you remember the German ship we sailed on? Listen. Did you hear that, Captain?
Yes.
Someone screamed. It must be from the beach.
No, it isn't from the beach.
Oh, someone may be in trouble. We'd best have a look.
Sit down, James. No one's in trouble.
Well, why do you say that? You said you heard it, too?
What's interesting is that you heard it, James.
Oh, what do you mean by that?
There are always people who think it's the wind or my imagination.
Then what was it?
Put another stick on the fire, will you?
Yes.
It's only something to do with the wind and the tide. Yeah, this is good enough for old sailors like us, James. I don't think Mary Pratt was very happy here.
Might be a little gloomy for a woman at that.
Poor woman. I suppose in a way I was responsible for her death.
What's that, Captain?
It was on a night like this. I was at home for a spell, waiting to take the Olympia out on her first trip.
Is that the voyage when she broke the record?
No, that was the next one.
Oh.
But that dates it.
1892?
In November.
Mm-hmm.
In this very room it was. Oh, the weather was dirty. Pratt was in his usual bad temper, and poor Mary Pratt's dinner was a failure.
You see that, Captain? My wife is trying to poison me.
Luke. He's joking, Mary.
Oh, I wish he were joking.
Welsh rarebit, raw turnips, and half-boiled mutton. Charles, if you ever marry, don't marry a fool.
You see what he thinks of me? You see how he goes on.
On second thought, perhaps it's better to marry a woman foolish enough to poison you with Welsh rarebit instead of spun glass or chopped horsehair.
Oh, you see, Luke's only joking. After all, he's a doctor. He knows all the antidotes, eh, Luke?
Not for some things.
Oh, of course. There was that woman in Ireland, the one who did for 3 husbands before anyone suspected a thing. Be glad you aren't married to one like that, Luke.
How did she manage it?
Well, her 4th husband managed to keep awake after she drugged him and caught her at it.
Caught her at what?
Well, she had a little horn funnel, and she put it into his ear.
This sounds rather ridiculous, old man.
Well, that's what he thought, until he saw her coming with a ladle filled with melted lead.
That's rather funny. Yeah.
That's terrible. Charles, that's awful. Oh, don't you dare tell such a story here, ever again.
Yeah.
In this very room it was. James, if I were you, I would never tell ugly stories about ingenious ways of killing people. Listen.
What? You heard that sound again, Captain?
No, that was the wind backing up to the southern again. I can tell by the sound.
Are you trying to tell me that Mrs. Pratt killed her husband?
No, she couldn't have. You see, she died that same November.
Good heavens, man.
Yes, Luke was a lonely man after that.
Lonely?
Oh, I could see it. I came to see him now and then.
And he looked lonely?
Oh, yes. Very worn and nervous. That last time I saw him, there was the thing about the dog.
Thing about a dog?
Yes. Luke was so thin, his head looked like a skull with parchment stretched over it, and his eyes had a sort of glare. He glared at me when I asked about the dog.
I killed the dog.
That sweet-tempered old bulldog?
I could stand it no longer, Charles.
Well, the dog was ill?
No. But he used to climb into that chair where you're sitting now.
Yes?
That was my wife's chair, you know.
Well, I know, Luke, but after all...
You never saw him do it. Old Bumble used to sit there and stare at me. We'd stare at each other, thinking over old times. And then the fool dog would begin to shake all over and set up a howl as if he'd been shot, and then he'd run and hide under the sideboard, making the strangest noises.
Why, poor old Bumble.
I couldn't stand it. He didn't suffer at all, Charles. I put Dianine into his drink to make him sleep soundly, and then I chloroformed him gradually so that he couldn't have suffered, even in a dream. He didn't suffer.
Well, I believe you, Luke.
He didn't suffer a bit. And it's been quieter since then.
He said, it's been quieter since then. Now I know what he meant. He meant that he didn't hear that noise so often. Perhaps he thought at first that it was old Bumble in the yard howling at the moon. Perhaps that's what he thought.
Good heavens.
It's not that kind of noise at all, is it, James?
That sound. What is it, Captain?
Don't be frightened, man. It won't eat you. It's only a noise. And a noise never hurt anyone.
That's all very well, but what is it?
When I don't understand a thing, I call it a phenomenon. And I don't take it for granted that it's going to kill me. Besides, what is there to prove Luke killed his wife?
Is there a connection?
Did I say there was?
Well, you, what did they say she died of?
She died in bed. A few days after I told that story.
But of what?
A heart trouble.
But you don't believe that?
Why not, Luke? called in another doctor, and he believed it.
But you don't.
Of course I believe it. Only pour yourself another drop, and I'll show you something.
I think I will.
I keep it locked in this old roller-top desk of Luke's. That's where I found it, you know. Ah, here we are.
You mean that pistol?
No. That's the old pistol I bought in Rio for a souvenir when you and I went ashore. Remember the Leofric, James?
Mm-hmm.
Grand vessel. Sailed. Those were the days, James.
What were you going to show me?
I imagine Luke was fond of deep-sea fishing. Probably used this for casting a sinker for a night line. Do you think, James?
An iron ladle?
You can see there it was hardened in the bottom of the bowl. The melted lead. Why, James, you dropped your drink. I'll get you another. You won't mention this, will you? After all, Luke's dead now, with an honest man's tombstone at his head. There was trouble enough about his death as it was. No reason for James Traherne to hear about a thing like this ladle. Here you are.
Thanks. James Traherne?
He's the sexton, and he works in my garden.
Works in your garden?
Oh, I didn't tell you about that. It was when I retired, and having inherited the property from poor old Luke, I moved in. This James Traherne showed me through the house and told me the story and showed me the thing in the cupboard.
A curious thing to keep in the cupboard? I mean, when you consider this here's the bedroom.
This hat box?
Same as they found by old Luke down on the beach.
When he died?
That's right. You remember the verdict? By the hands or teeth of some person or animal unknown.
I know. I heard all about that. Some big dog chewed him to death.
That don't horrify you, Captain?
Oh, I suppose. I've seen a good deal around this world, however.
Have you ever seen a bit of interior decoration like this?
What is it?
Hat box. Open it up, Captain.
Oh, you're very mysterious, Traherne. All right, I'll open it up.
Very pretty and polished. And white, ain't it, Captain?
A skull.
It's what it is, all right. Found by him when he was dead, there on the beach.
Oh, what of it? Luke was a doctor. It's not unusual for a doctor to have a thing like this.
But it is unusual for a thing like this to roll. When he fell dead, mind you, not down the slope of the beach towards his feet, but up the slope of the beach toward his head.
Oh, you what?
It rolled up the beach. From where the open hat box was found.
Phenomenon.
This here phenomenon lay right up against his poor throat, all broken and bruised by, like you say, Captain, some big dog. Do you notice something else?
No.
Here, take it.
Well?
Give it a shake.
Huh?
Go on, shake it.
Oh, all right.
Now, ain't that a peculiar sound?
There's something inside.
Pretty small, very nice shape to it. Perfect teeth.
Well, it's only a medical specimen.
I wonder where the lower jaw got to. With them teeth, she would have had a pretty smile. Wouldn't she, Captain?
That's what he said. After that, I got something into my head. Oh, I don't mean anything supernatural. As far as that goes, I'd rather face any shape of ghost than a fog in the channel when it's crowded, eh, James?
Oh, what was it you got into your head?
No, there's no sense to it.
Didn't she have a Christian burial?
Oh, certainly. She's lying in the churchyard where Treherne put her to rest.
It's monstrous.
To suppose her husband kept her skull in her old hat box in the bedroom.
It's ridiculous. Captain, you play me for a fool. Pour me another drink.
Yes, it's ridiculous.
I suppose he had done. I mean, the ladle and the melted lead and all that. But then...
Why did he do this other thing?
Yes. Why?
He could have been afraid of something else that I told him when I told that story.
What?
Well, the woman that did for those 3 husbands, they dug up the 3 skulls, you know.
And?
And in each, there was a small lump of lead rattling around. That's what hanged her. I suppose he'd remember that was the vital evidence.
Captain Charlie Braddock.
James?
You old fraud, you sea-dog, you pirate, you old devil.
What, James?
Get me another drink, you dog.
Yeah, but what is so funny?
You invite me here to this haunted-looking cottage of yours by the gloomy sea, and you set me down by your fireplace and spin me a yarn like... You old lying fraud of a sailor.
Lord, he'd remember that was the vital evidence. I've often wondered how he managed it. What do you suppose he put in its place?
Do you mean that sound came from your bedroom?
James, let me tell you about the night I tried to get rid of the thing. It's not happy anywhere else, you know. It wants to be in Mary Pratt's hat box in that cupboard. At least I think it does. I sleep in Luke's old surgery now, you know. But then when I first came, I slept in the bedroom. Well, and I slept well. You know, an old sailor, no natural sound disturbs you. Not all the racket of a square rigger hove to in a heavy gale. But any unnatural sound, and you wake in a moment. That's how it was every night at exactly 17 minutes past 3. I wonder if that was the hour she died. Then I would hear it and be exploded into a wakeful terror.
What? Not again? I won't have that again.
I won't stand this anymore. Now, I'm going to settle this. I'll take you and... Yes, the window. There. Here you go, hat box and all out the window. Oh, dear heaven, blot out my ears, kill my hearing, deafen me, but never let me hear that again. I would not stop screaming. Then, when I thought I would go mad, it fell silent. I sat on my bed, listening, waiting. Hours passed. Then I heard a totally unexpected sound. Oh, someone at the door. You can't see the door from above. I called out, "Who's there? Who is it?" Who could it be, I thought. Oh, some old country fellow, stone deaf. I took my candle and went down to open the door. I set my candle down on the hall table. And then, when I opened the door, the wind blew it out. There was no one there. I shut the door. I lit the candle. There it was, at my feet, where the wind blew it in. the light and shadow from the candle playing in the hollows of it. So the eyes seemed to open and shut at me. We stared at each other. I spoke to it. What do you want? It wanted to go back to its cupboard. I knew that. But I stared at it, and I refused to move. I stared, and it stared back, and I waited. All right. I hurried outside. I found that box. I ran inside, put the thing in the box, and returned it to its cupboard in the bedroom. After that, I slept in Luke's old surgery. But still, it screams at me. It hates me. I was the one who told Luke the story, you know. Listen, James. What? The wind and the tide.
Captain, do you have to go on with this story? Can't we talk about old times?
Yes, old times. Yes. Remember old Blocklot?
A carpenter, wasn't he?
Yes. On the Clontarf.
I remember.
He used to say, when we were hove to in a howling gale...
I remember. Biddy de boer pebble sore, 'tis night, boys.
That's just the way he'd say it.
Yes, and always on a night like this.
Listen.
Huh. So that's what it is.
What, James?
You old fraud. That's the classic sound of wind howling in the chimney.
James, I'll get the thing and show it to you. Here's the box.
That's it?
Yes. My candle went out as I brought it downstairs.
Well, put the box down.
It went out, but that was the draft from the leaky window on the landing.
Oh, put it down.
Yes. Did you hear anything when I went up?
Yes.
There was another scream. Whatever that scream came from, it wasn't from this.
No?
I had the box in my hand when I heard the noise, and here it is now. So we have proved definitely that the screams are produced by something else.
The chimney.
To think I could have been so weak as to fancy that the poor skull could really cry out like a living thing with the agony of melted lead poured through the ear into its brain.
Then don't talk that way, Captain.
No, I won't.
Well, if you're going to show me Luke's medical specimen, open the box.
Yes, I will, James. You see how carefully I wrapped it in brown butcher's paper and tied it with string.
Mm-hmm.
Now, we look at it under the bright lamp. It's awful to think that the poor lady used to sit there, in your chair, where the dog Bumble later stared at Luke in just the same lamplight.
Oh, come now, Captain. Let's have a look at this.
See? Here's the label I put on it to seal the string. And here's what I wrote.
Once the property of the late Luke Pratt, M.D. One skull. Well, open it, Captain.
I often wondered what sort of hat it was that came in this box.
What kind of hat?
A gay spring hat with a bobbing feather and pretty ribbons. Strange if this same box should hold the head that wore that.
Open it.
Yes. Open it. Oh, strange. I don't have the strength in my hands anymore, James. Can you break the string?
Yes. There.
Now.
Oh, Oh, good Lord, take the lamp. The window.
James, the lamp.
Close that window, Captain.
Yes, I'll close the window, but don't let the lamp go out if you can help it.
How can I help it if you don't close the blasted window? Now, shut out that gale.
Yes, Here, the bolt was only half down. It won't blow open again. That's the advantage of these old-fashioned windows with the bolt. Now, the hat box.
Where is it?
Where? Did it blow off the table?
Oh, must be here
somewhere. There it is, on the floor. Hand it up there, will you, James?
There you are. Now, open it.
There. You see? The lid comes off easily enough. There. Now, look, James.
At what? There's nothing in the box.
What? Empty?
Empty, Captain.
No, that must not be.
Captain, there never was a skull, was there?
Never a skull?
No skull. You imagined the whole thing.
Yes. Yes, I imagined it. Turn up the lamp.
Yes. You've been living alone too long, old friend.
I can't understand. Do you suppose the sexton Traherne suspects something? Do you suppose he could have stolen it?
Why would he steal it?
What's that? On the floor.
Where?
There, by your foot.
No, Captain, for heaven's sake, it's nothing. Nothing at all, but this.
But what?
This.
Then I'm guilty. Then Luke did listen to the story. Then the thing does hate me. And this fell out just now when the box blew to the floor. It hates me.
Why would it hate you?
Because I told the story. And there you have the end of the story. A round ball of lead.
Then, where's the skull? Do you want me to answer?
No.
No, I'm not going to answer it, Captain.
It hates me. I told Luke the story. How did it get out of the box this time?
This is no affair. Captain, I'm going. Are you coming?
Where?
Out the other way, the back way.
No, it hates me. It blames me.
Then I'm going. You can come or not.
No, it hates me.
Come with me, Captain. Leave this and come with me.
No.
Then God help you. Because I can't.
James. James! What do you want of me? Don't do that. Don't. I know the frightful agony, the hot lead, the melted metal searing into the brain. Don't blame me. I know what you want. Here it is. My pistol. The old pistol from Rio. You remember, James? No, I won't answer. Don't blame me. Don't blame me. I won't open the door. I knew what you wanted.
Mystery Theater has presented The Screaming Skull, A Tale of the Supernatural by Marion Crawford. Adapted for radio by George Selverson. With Hugh Webster as James, Tommy Tweed as the captain, Drew Thompson as Luke, Marion Waldman as Mary, his wife, and Eric Clavering as Traherne. The sound effects were by John Sliz, and technical operation by Robert Burt. This is Bill Lorne speaking.
This is a Nightfall episode called The Devil's Backbone, written by Silver Donald Cameron, in the sea close to Halifax, Nova Scotia, in the area known as the Devil's Backbone. Two divers try to find a sunken treasure. They experience problems, with one finding claw marks on his diving suit upon returning to the surface, and hear of a curse which inhabits the area.
And now, the old studio clock on the wall tells us that it's that time again. Time for some mystery and murder, suspense and terror. Time for Nightfall Mystery Theater. The Devil's Backbone. It's written by Silver Donald Cameron and set somewhere along the fog-enshrouded coast of Nova Scotia. Down beneath the waves, there's an old wreck laden with gold. And there's nothing to stop a man from making a killing.
See the diver, like a drifting spaceman in his red wetsuit, mask, scuba gear. He tilts forward slowly, reaches out a mittened hand. Hidden among the swaying brown weeds covered with a thin purple layer of coral is a Spanish biscuit, an ingot of solid gold, the end of the rainbow. But before the diver can touch it, the water turns black around him, black as oblivion. He thrashes in the water, blind and disoriented. Some thing seizes him by the leg and pulls him down into the silt, the mud, the slimy weed. Something heavy and deliberate strikes him in the face and knocks away the demand regulator, a delicate chrome-plated marvel which allows him to breathe 50 feet underwater. He gropes for it frantically. Without air, he's dead. Dead on the Devil's Backbone.
Oh, God. Oh, God. Eric, what happened? Where's Des?
Don't know. Oh, God.
Oh. What happened, Eric?
Look, down there.
The water's black.
It nearly got me.
What nearly got you?
Whatever it is. Gotta go back. Find Des.
No.
Got to.
No.
Des.
He's coming up. Look, I see him.
Where?
Over there. Look, isn't that him?
Yeah, that's him. Oh, thank God. Des, for God's sake, it's all right. Eric, it's all right, Des. God Almighty.
Get aboard, both of you. We're heading in. Eric, what's that?
What?
On your leg. Your suit's all torn.
Oh, my God. Claw marks. Yeah. But what's got claws like that? I remember the winter evening when the venture began, when Eric and Joyce walked into my apartment in Halifax. They were grinning from ear to ear.
Des, tell me, what would you do if you were rich?
Well, I'd hire Joyce here to give me a couple of weeks of physical education in the Bahamas.
Volleyball and swimming? That's what I teach.
Well, maybe we could enlarge a job description just a little bit.
I might have something to say about that.
Yeah, not if I was rich enough.
Well, it's all very flattering, but I'm not up for auction.
Okay, anyway, what's all this about?
I think we've got a chance to get rich next summer.
Yeah? How?
Diving.
Not another of those futile treasure hunts. Come on, you're brighter than that.
Oh, no, this is a good one. You remember that little book I did on privateers in Nova Scotia?
Yeah.
Well, a guy called me up from Lockport down the South Shore, and he'd read it. He said his great-great-grandfather or somebody had been a privateer.
Mm-hmm.
And there might be some information in the family papers up in the attic. So I went down to have a look. I wasn't expecting anything, but you wouldn't believe the papers in that attic. They'd been quite a prominent merchant family at one time, and I don't think they ever threw away a bill of sale or receipt or anything. I plowed around in there for a couple of days, and in the end, I found this.
A log of the private ship of war, Wasp.
I don't think anyone's looked at that log since 1757. The Wasp belonged to the first notable member of the family, a fellow named Ezekiel Hobson. Now, he's the guy that established the family fortune.
Mm-hmm.
They made a cruise in 1757 and loaded the ship with plunder. They just about made it home when a French privateer from Louisburg forced them onto the coast. The Wasp struck a reef called the Devil's Backbone and smashed herself to pieces.
Des, nobody ever salvaged her. We don't think anyone knows she's there.
So you want to have a crack at it?
We want all three of us to have a crack at it. We need 2 divers and someone in the boat. And you're Eric's diving partner.
Oh, Joyce, will you come to the Bahamas with me?
Well, if it's the only way to get you signed on.
Oh, the things you have to do to get a guy to accept the chance of a lifetime.
You got it.
Fine morning.
Pretty nice.
Doing a little diving, are you?
I thought we might find some scallops.
Oh, are lobsters?
If we did, we wouldn't tell you.
That's poaching, you know. We had some trouble with that.
We're not after lobsters.
Now, where'd you plan on going? Devil's Backbone, I suppose.
Possibly. Is that a good place for scallops?
Scallops.
Something else on that reef?
Well, yeah. Or so they say.
What?
Treasure. And a curse.
What kind of curse?
Likely all foolishness anyway. But they do say a pirate ship went down on that reef. And the skipper put a wish on it.
Put a wish?
That whoever goes after that treasure, he don't come back.
Anybody try it?
Oh, the odd diver's gone out there. Never found nothing, I don't believe.
Oh, but they came back.
Well, I guess so. Nobody never went searching for him anyways.
Come on, let's go. See you later, friend.
Bye. You be careful now.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, sure.
What do you make of all that?
That's what they call local knowledge.
He makes me nervous.
It's interesting, eh? Someone was here before.
Local people always have some idea what's there. A pirate ship loaded with treasure? Well, that's pretty close.
You know, if anyone was going to curse the place, Ezekiel Hobson would be the man. Remember what he did to that fisherman, Eric?
Yeah.
What's that?
Well, he wanted to find out if there were any Spanish ships around, and he captured a fisherman. The fisherman wouldn't say, so Hobson lopped off one of his fingers with an axe. Told him he'd have all the rest before the day was out. The fella talked.
Well, it's still like that. The strong man takes.
We're a little more civilized than that, Des.
Yeah, on the surface. Acting happens to be my trade, but most of us are pros at acting civilized.
And we're getting close.
What are the marks?
We get those 2 points of land over there in line, and then we go along that line till the big white rock at the harbor mouth bears 273 degrees.
You telling me those points haven't eroded in 200 years?
Likely they have, but not much at this distance.
And the magnetic variation?
I worked it out. 273 it should be today.
Hey, you think of everything, don't you?
That's the way he lives his life.
A little further out, Joyce. Now, a little further.
How's this?
Okay, that's it. Now, veer left. A little more.
Okay.
Easy. Okay. Des, get the anchor over fast before she drifts.
Yeah.
Good. It's nice out here. Well, Des, let's get those suits on.
You don't want me to move the boat at all?
Not unless one of us surfaces and calls for help.
But you'll likely come up a long way from the boat.
Well, no more than a couple of 100 feet. We're just going to do overlapping circles on centers about 40 feet apart.
Oh, okay.
Now, how many do you think we can do on a tank of air, Des? 4 or 5, no more. So, 200 feet at most. I don't know how you can wear that clumsy backpack. You look like a turtle in a fiberglass shell. I don't know how you can wear all those belts, one on top of the other. Weight belt, buoyancy vest, backpack. Turn on my air, will you? Is the reserve valve shut? Yeah, it's shut. Okay. Yeah, it looks good. Well, let's make some bubbles. Nothing like it. That split second when you leave your own element and plunge into another. Suddenly, your body is weightless. Your movement slow and graceful. As we swam, I knew how much I wanted to be rich. No more crap from third-rate Hitchcocks. I'd go south, buy a big boat and a pile of diving gear. Just pick and choose from all those little secretaries that go down for 2 weeks on package tours looking for romance. Chivas Regal and lobster tails and the best dope going. See the diver, like a drifting spaceman in his red wetsuit. He tilts forward slowly, reaches out a mittened hand. Hidden among the swaying weeds covered with coral is a Spanish biscuit, an ingot of solid gold, the end of the rainbow. That's when it happened. Black fog, black water, something seizing Eric's leg. Terror and panic. Something struck him. I couldn't see him, couldn't see anything. Scuffling and banging, then roaring up to the surface. Pain in my leg, and then daylight, air and a voice screaming. My voice. No, I'm out of it. I'm not going out there again.
Look, Daz, we found it. We found it. If we can get most of it up and sell it intelligently, we can each have 100,000 a year for life, maybe more.
Yeah, or we can get killed tomorrow. It's not worth it.
Look, I was scared down there, but...
Scared? I'm bloody paralyzed.
Okay, paralyzed. But I don't believe in spooks.
Doesn't have to be spooks, Eric. Could be something that lives down there. Giant squid or something.
Well, if it's a giant squid, we can chase it away. Or kill it.
Oh, Eric, you can't be serious.
Do you know what you're talking about, Eric? Tentacles 30 feet long. Suction discs like saucers. Claws as well. Shooting around the bottom on jets of water. Making black clouds of ink so you can't even see it. And those 2 big eyes and that parrot beak. God.
Yeah, but there aren't many that big.
How come you're such a daredevil all of a sudden, Eric?
It's the biggest chance in my lifetime.
What's wrong with your life as it is?
Money means you've got choices. No money, no choices.
All right, but how much will you sacrifice?
I'm not saying we have to recover that cargo at all costs. I'm just not quitting without another look. Now, how are we going to feel if someone else gets it?
Jealous, but alive.
What's happened to you, Des? You're not usually that jittery.
Yeah, well... maybe I got scared worse than you did.
It didn't grab you. Didn't knock out your regulator.
When I think of going down there again, my stomach turns over. I can't do it.
Leave him alone, Eric. Don't keep pushing him.
Never mind, Joyce. I'm going to my room.
What the hell's the story on him?
What's the matter with you?
I just want to finish what we started.
No, that's not it. You want the money. You can practically taste it.
Oh, can't you?
Oh, yes, of course, but I don't like what it's doing to you. Wanting the gold so much. It's making you a monster. Can't you see? Des is terrified.
Come on, I wasn't that hard on him.
Oh, weren't you?
Well, maybe I was. What are we supposed to do, quit?
You won't get anywhere trying to force him.
Well, maybe you could talk to him. Maybe he'd listen to you. Talk to Des?
Mm-hmm.
How'd it go?
All right. He'll dive tomorrow.
He will? How did you do that?
He's scared, Eric, but he'll do it.
Going out again, are you?
Yeah.
How'd you fare out yesterday?
I saw some interesting places. Caves on the reef and stuff.
Ah. On the Devil's Backbone? Didn't see no sign of that treasure, eh?
If there is treasure.
Well, we won't know it's there till somebody finds it, will we?
That's an Irish way of looking at it.
Come on, let's go.
We'll bring you back a gold coin, maybe.
You do that. You surely do that.
Cold. The water's cold. My spirit's cold. The marker didn't move. We swim down the line to the bottom, going to the exact spot we left yesterday, into the milky green light of the depths. Long curving ropes stretch down into obscurity. Again, Eric's red wetsuit, goggled and finned, stroking smoothly down beside me, checking me anxiously to see how I'm bearing up. I'm okay, Eric, I'm okay. I'm cold as ice, clear through. There's the marker below us. We settle on our knees beside it, stirring up little puffs of silt. Perfect calm. Nothing sinister. But the bottom is littered with wheat-encrusted bars and globes and boxes. The cargo of the Wasp, spilled from her torn bottom 2 centuries ago. Wealth just for the picking. Eric reaches for a Spanish biscuit, picks it up, passes it to me. We gaze at the ingot, then at each other. He reaches for one more. Then, something black and rubbery swells up from the ocean bottom, growing like an insane black tumor. It pushes us, then the water goes inky black. I can't see Eric. Something pushes against me, tries to press me against the bottom, and I feel a sharp point biting into my calf as I struggle to find the surface. As the ink thins, the sharp point jabs my leg again. As I swim away from the swelling, monstrous thing below me, I see red filaments trailing in the water, thin lines of blood from my leg. And now Eric's right beside me, still clutching the second Spanish biscuit. There's a scarlet flow from his right side, from 5 parallel gashes under the arm of his jacket. Terrified, we race upwards, break away to the surface, then burst into the air. Blessed air.
Start the engine, Joyce. Get us out of here. Go. Go!
Was it the same thing again?
Worse. Worse. Oh, my God.
Not far from Devil's Backbone, are we?
Not very far, no. That's where we're going.
Des. Really, you don't mean it.
Well, you're not concerned about the curse, are you?
Look, I am not going back there. Not for anything.
The curse has been lifted, you know. I lifted it.
This is not really a good subject for jokes, Des.
I'm not joking. I did lift the curse. It wasn't hard. After all, I put it on in the first place.
What are you talking about?
I got everything into that bulky backpack Eric used to talk about. India ink, big weather balloon with a CO2 cartridge.
What?
Piece of wood with 5 sharpened nails driven through it. A little fast work in the blackness, and there's your curse.
But you were hurt, too.
Well, that's to make it convincing. I am a good actor, you know.
You bastard.
Hey, now. You remember old Ezekiel Hobson? Thing he used to do when he wanted information? The strong take what they want.
And you wanted all the treasure.
In a way, I wanted it, and I wanted you. I didn't need Eric.
And now we're going to go and get that treasure. Just the 2 of us.
Yeah.
And then what?
First, we have to sell the stuff.
under the counter.
Because of Eric.
Eric and the law. I mean, there are legal complications,
Yes,
you know.
yes. And then?
Well, whatever we want. Take a world tour, go down south, lie in the sun forever. Buy a private plane, I don't know, you name it.
Together?
Yeah. Yeah.
You bastard. I'd be one more discard, huh? Just like Eric.
Now, Joyce, you know, you're an exceptional woman. You're very much to my taste, but I need a certain amount of variety.
I won't do it.
Do what?
I'm not having any part of this. Goodbye, Des.
You can't make shore from here in a dinghy. Joyce, for God's sake. Damn. I would have had to kill her anyway. I guess. One word to the wrong person, I'd lose everything. I didn't think she'd get sucked under the boat and mangled by the propeller after I ran to dinghy. I thought I had her. Didn't think she'd dare object. A woman like that who likes to be hurt and degraded. Damn her anyway. Once the air leaves her lungs, she follows me down easily. When I get her to the bottom, I'll tie her hands and feet to rocks. Nobody's ever going to find her. They wouldn't know where to begin looking. Oh, it's lovely down here. The diffuse light and hazy shadows. Down through the colder layers of water, towing what's left of her. She was good, though. Oh, yeah, she was really good. I knew what she was like. That first night I took her back in the motel. Eric never reached her. Never made her shriek like that. He doesn't know much about women. About man, either. A strong man takes what he wants. An old bed spring lying on the bottom. That's perfect. I'll tie her to it. The wrists. Yeah, now the ankles. Now I'll pile some stones on the bed spring. Bed like this is forever. It's all they're good for, anyway. Cargo can't be far away. I glide like a bird, easing through weed and boulders. And there it is. There it is. The heap of ingots and bars and stuff. I want to laugh. I pick up an ingot and drop it into my bag, and then another, and another. The blackness, the blows, jabs of pain. And that beak, no, it tears at my regulator. Let go, let go, you get away from me, get away from me. That beak!
When I found that boat on the beach, mister, there weren't a sign of life. Just one of them queer diving suits you fellas wear. And a tank. But the engine was still warm.
It wasn't there in the morning?
No. It weren't there till after dinner.
Will you run me out to the Devil's Backbone?
Run you out to Devil's Backbone? What for?
I want to dive.
What, you think they...
I think they might have gone diving out there and got into trouble.
Now, look here. That place got a wish on it, for sure. If two of them got into trouble, you'll need 4 to go looking for them. Not just one man alone.
I've got my suit and tank in the car.
Yeah? Up to you, I suppose. You want to go? I'll take you.
Okay. I'll be right with you.
Damn fool.
now. I'll run you out there. But I'll be some surprised if I run you back.
Listening to The Devil's Backbone by Silver Donald Cameron, starring Neil Daynard as Eric, Linda Sorensen as Joyce, and Neil Monroe as Des. The technician was John Jessup, and the sound effects were by Bill Robinson. The series' story editor is Earl Toppings. This edition of Nightfall Mystery Theater was produced and directed by Paul Mills.